Hello and welcome in for everybody watching from home over on YouTube. It is so good to have each and every single one of you in here with me today. We already have over 100 Trump supporters lined up for some conversations on live right now. And in fact, we already have our very first Trump supporter of the day, Miss Christina, on the live. But before we hop into the debate, we also have our buddy Parker up here who's going to be co-hosting with us today to run some of these debates. But Christina, go ahead and take it away and tell us why you support the Trump administration.
Dean, how many guest requests are there?
I don't even know if I can even take this serious. I voted for Kamala.
Okay. Christina, don't troll like that, please, especially when I'm going to go live on
But he's just starting the live.
Yeah. So if you're curious, the conversation that unfolded before I went live on YouTube, I asked her if she supported Trump and voted for him, and she was like, yeah. Guys, don't do that. Come on, bro. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. For everyone on YouTube, I do apologize. I always try to start off with a debate. What's going on? The sweetest Gyms, do you support Trump? Not here. Okay. All right, guys, if you support Trump, go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that comment section. Y'all, we are really just looking for some conversations here. Now I feel like I got to rush because, I don't want to keep the people at home on YouTube waiting. Fun fact, like 80% of the viewership on these YouTube streams comes after the live is over. What is going on, Lil Boosie? Do you support Trump? And they left, guys. All right, if you're one of the 6,000 people watching on TikTok, not YouTube, on TikTok right now, and you support Trump, go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that comment section if you want to come up here and debate. Let's try to get that next conversation running away right now. What's going on? And everybody's leaving, man. All right, we got our next guest, Tyler, loading up. I guess we're going to try to get that conversation going. What's going on, Tyler? Do you support Trump?
No, I'm so sorry. You guys are.
Dude, Tyler's bio said, I support Trump. Guys, what are we doing today, y'all? What's going on, Big Baller? Do you support Trump?
Dumb, stupid nigger.
Okay, and it's a literal fetus. We're just going to go ahead and move on. Here we go, everyone. We do apologize for that, guys. Everyone just drop a MAGA down below in that chat if you want to come up here and debate. Wow. Hello, Kennedy. Do you support Trump? Kennedy, hello? Okay, Kennedy's not here. So here's the deal for everyone watching at home. Today we got a lot of bad news from the Trump administration. They just straight up came out and said that they will not facilitate the return of Abreu Garcia. They said that he is never coming back. And what does that mean? They are violating a Supreme Court order, and hopefully they will be held in contempt. But, this only happened 4 hours ago, and the White House just straight up came out and said this very gross statement, meaning that the Republican media hasn't had enough time yet to spin it, meaning that the Trump supporters that would come up here and have a debate with us don't know what arguments to run, meaning that they're not even willing and coming up here and having a conversation with us right now. What's going on, B? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, but I have a better question. Do you support Charles Oliveira? Do you think he will beat Islam Makhachev in the rematch?
Don't know
That's my question for you.
who that is. So why do you support Trump?
Low key, I'll just raise the Republican, but I don't know, to be honest. I just wanted to ask you about the Charles Oliveira question because.
All right, moving on. All right, guys. Well, what we see is just thousands of people hanging out with us in this live. Not one soul that wants to tell us why they support the president. Sad day for Trump supporters. What's going on, Ravens? Do you support Trump?
I don't know. Definitely.
Definitely, dude. I kicked him because he said I don't know. Man, dude.
Dean, that was rough. I feel you on that one. I do that sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, he said that he didn't know, so I kicked him. But then he went on to say definitely. Wow. All right, you guys. We're
Wow. I tell you. Wow.
Still just trying to get that first debate of the evening, y'all. We do apologize. Sometimes it does take time. Unlucky for that last guest. What's going on, Cash? Do you support Trump?
I absolutely do support Trump.
All right, phenomenal. Wow, look at that, you guys. We finally got a Trump supporter on the line. So let me ask you a question. Why do you support the worst administration of your lifetime?
Well, I really don't like illegal Mexicans being in my country. I think they all need to be sent to El Salvador.
Okay, so is it just like...
What a fucking weirdo. Gross.
I'm not a troll.
Okay, so you're not a troll. This is how you feel. So is it just like Mexican undocumented migrants?
Any undocumented migrants.
Okay, so then why did you specify Mexicans?
Because that's what the dude is, isn't he?
So
everyone seems to be up in arms about this dude getting
he's
deported.
Not. So unironically, no, he's not. He's El Salvadorian. But I want to clarify here. Why do you think that all undocumented migrants deserve to be sent to to an El Salvadorian prison?
Well, they don't need to be here. That's
Okay,
for
so
damn
why
sure.
do they need? Wait, I mean, I disagree with you there, and I'll give you a counter argument against that. But I first want to clarify: why do you think they all deserve to be in an El Salvadorian jail?
Because it's a termination camp.
Okay, he's just a troll.
Okay.
A
I'm not
fucking
trolling.
gross thing.
Okay.
That's a gross thing to troll about, let alone fucking say, you fucking weirdo.
So I have a
Yo,
question.
justice for Austin, by the way.
What are the ideological separations between you and Hitler?
Nothing. We're both one and the same.
All right, moving on to the next guys. Here we go, everyone. Just give us a minute. So I'd like to clarify. We've seen a trend of the only people that support the president that are willing to come up here and have a conversation are Nazis. So I mean, if you've been watching the YouTube stream, what you've seen since I started the YouTube stream is what? I think like 4 trolls, 4 liberals coming up here to just say hey, and then one guy that was screaming the N-word, and then another guy that was saying he's Hitler. So I think it's funny that we have more Trump supporters that just want to come up here and say they're Hitler than Trump supporters that want to come up here and tell us why they support the president of America. And I'd also like to just clarify here for the 7.1 thousand people watching on TikTok, it's not a win, but it's not an if, but it's a win. This live gets taken down. Head over to the link in my bio, go over to the YouTube stream. TikTok will take us down at some point today. I have a feeling that it's likely
Why'd you cut your fluffy hair?
Tim, how old are you?
19.
Child. All right, Parker. I'm gonna go and give you mod power real quick. So hopefully,
I think I have it. I can
Alright.
do it. I just I was having bad luck yesterday, so I don't want to add up, the wrong people,
we're gonna go to try to get that next guest up in here. There's a couple things that I look for. Just look for like non-zero following counts. Look for higher following counts.
I actually typically look for lower now because I don't want them to have camera access.
Hello?
What's going on, Arson? Do you support Trump?
No, but
Okay. We're gonna go to make this clear. If you were one of the people in the guest request on TikTok, make sure that means you support the current presidential administration. If your answer to the question, do you support Trump, is no, do not join the queue. And if you are already in the queue, leave the queue. What is going on, James? Do you support Trump?
How you doing? I don't support him or not support him. I just want to know.
I know this is a troll. I accidentally added them.
All right, guys, we just went over the rules. So at this point in the conversation, we are going to go ahead and start banning people that request to join this live that do not support Trump. And the TikTok stream was banned. As I said, I mean, it was right on cue. It was right on cue, ladies and gentlemen. It couldn't have happened at any better point. So for everyone watching on YouTube, I think that you've all got to witness something very, very special here today since we started the stream. And this is simply just how it goes sometimes. This is just how it happens. We start our live stream. We start looking for debates with Trump supporters. We have somebody come up and scream the N-word. Somebody come up and tell us they're Hitler. And then the stream gets taken down. That's about it, guys. So if you want a good idea of what MAGA in America today looks like, they're traitorous pigs. Okay, that's it. That's the support base. Okay, and that's a fact as well, you guys. And all you got to do to find evidence for this fact is to watch these streams. All right, that is all you got to do to find evidence for that fact. Now, we're going to go ahead and thank a couple people for their donations, and then we are going to hopefully wait to see if that appeal goes through. If that appeal does not go through, we will be live on another one of our accounts. But let's go ahead and thank a couple people for their donations. Kennedy, 21 minutes ago with a $50 donation over on the Venmo. Thank you so very much for the love, Kennedy. That is so incredibly kind of you. If we could please get 500 W Kennedys down below in that comment section. That would be so incredibly kind of you guys. Thank you so much for the love, Kennedy. Kennedy says just a heart emoji. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for the love as of recently. And then also Jocelyn. Thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Shout out Jocelyn. Chris with the $7.77 and Amelia with the $5. That is very, very kind of you as well. as Madison with a $5 and Iris with a $3. That is so incredibly kind of you guys. All right, y'all. All right, let's see if that appeal went through. If not, don't worry. We have other accounts that we could go live on, and the appeal was not approved. Dude, unreal. Give me 1 second to hit my team with that band so I can let them know. All right. Matthew, thank you so much for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat, saying, did I get a new computer? No, I haven't yet. I really haven't yet. I need to. And then Andre, thank you for the 20 SEK. That's incredibly kind of you. Kane with a 3 and Yedin with a 2. Geek with a 2 and Chuckles with a 2. Thank you all so very much. So, all right. That account is GONE, unfortunately. For everybody that is now in the YouTube that came from the TikTok, because I said it's not an if, it's a win, it gets taken down. Thank you for being here. I just, first and foremost, want to thank you so much for coming over to the YouTube stream. And now we're going to head over to @ItMightBeDean on TikTok for the rest of the debates today. Wow. All right. So, by the way, it looks like next week, apparently this TikTok rep that my team has been working with, apparently she helped on the verification, is going to be connecting us with a live team next week. Very interesting. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to go ahead and go live on @ItMightBeDean over on TikTok. In fact, we just went live, so everyone hop in. Dude, fuck TikTok, man. On a real note, this shit's crazy. Yeah, but we're back up on the alt. Hello, everybody tuning in. Welcome into the stream, y'all. It is so good to see you all. Thanks for tuning right back in here. So, we got taken down. As per usual, TikTok is not too friendly with us, but, this time we did have a lined up backup account to go live on. And here we are. So we already know that this account is able to get some push. That's a good thing. And hopefully we'll have some great debates. So if you are one of the first 500 people tuning in here, y'all, make sure that we are double tapping away on that phone screen and sharing out this live with a handful of friends. And then, yes, of course, for everyone on the YouTube, once again, the account we're on is @ItMightBeDean on TikTok. If you follow my main account, you will see the notification soon because I'm currently trying to join it as a guest. But nonetheless, everyone, make sure that you guys are trying to double tap away on that phone screen. Kane, thank you for the money gun, sharing this live out with a handful of friends, doing all that good stuff. So hopefully we could get this live to push out into that For You page. All right. We are going to go ahead and get my main account up here as a guest so we could get the live notification pushed out to more people, as many people as possible, quite frankly. And we're going to go and do that right now. Phenomenal. So we got the main account loading up, and then we are going to go ahead and start pulling up the guest requests. Here we go. The main account is loaded in, and let's go ahead and get that first guest request of the day. We got Theo loading up in. Keep in mind, y'all, we're just looking to debate people that support the president. All right, next guest is loading in right now. Theo didn't connect. Guys, if you're MAGA, let me know in that comment section. I'll get you up here. Let's go ahead and get that first guest, Miss Sophia, loaded in right now. Here we are, guys. What's going on, Sophia? Sophia, I'm banning you. I'm not even joking. I just blocked and banned your account, Sophia. Unreal. Moving on. We got To Be Fine loading up in the box. Here we go, everyone. What is going on, To Be Fine? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do support Trump.
Okay. How old are you, man?
I'm 20, man.
All right, man. We're the same age, man.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, anyhow. Okay, first I want to start off with an analogy for you. Okay, let's pretend that you are on your deathbed. All right, and this person gives you there's 10 different pills you can take. Each pill has a 10% chance of working, all right? However, If you do not take any of the pills, you are going to die. But if you take one of the 10 pills, you have a chance of living for longer.
Okay,
Are you
so,
gonna
so you're
choose-
basically saying a chance at living for longer or a chance at not living or no chance at living for longer? Well, I'm going to take a chance at living for longer, but how the hell does this relate to why you support Trump?
Wait, so you would take one of the 10 pills if it had a 10% chance of working?
So if it was a 0% chance I live to tomorrow versus a 10% chance I live to tomorrow, I'm going to take the 10% chance that I live
No,
to tomorrow.
it's like a 20 year or a 40 year. So if you don't take the pill, you can live for 20 more years. If you do take the pill, you can live for 40 more years.
Okay, I'd choose living 40 more years over living 20 more years, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this pill is basically representing the different religions you can choose from. And at least one of these religions is going to have maybe a 10% chance of being true. So why
Have I
would you not
debated you before?
No, I've never talked to either of you guys.
I swear to God, I've talked to you before.
I've not talked to you. I've talked to the kid that kind of looks like Dean, but he's not Dean, and he's a lot less popular. But he's a chill guy. I like that guy.
Okay, so how does
Um,
this relate to why you support Trump?
Wait, but could you answer my question? Why would you not take a potential pill if it has a potential 10% chance of being true? Why would you not go ahead and take the pill?
What? I told you I would choose a 10% chance of living an additional 40 years compared to a 0% chance of living an additional 40 years.
Yeah, so that represents an eternal afterlife, the possibility of an eternity.
So
And that
I,
it's
I know for sure this guy. I've
chance.
talked to him. He's gaslighting. We've talked to him a million times, Dean. I promise you.
I've never
100%.
talked to you.
Shut the fuck up, you gaslighting.
wow.
You're gaslighting.
But why
I
are you
just- I'm
being
sorry.
mean to me? First of
Hey,
all,
man.
Because I know you're gaslighting.
Hey man, so this is a pretty popular argument for religion.
yeah, they're just agreeing with Parker. I've never been up here. I'm actually dead ass.
No, he's totally gaslighting. I promise you. I 100%. I'm certain.
Can you give me proof?
Wait, think of the $5. Go to my YouTube. You can. I promise you, you're lying.
I am okay. I've gone up on the kid that looks like Dean before.
Dean,
I've also
I
been-
promise you, he's gaslighting the entire.
I've
chat
been
is
on
telling me he is,
Destruction
but it's
Zone.
okay.
I've been on Ian. I've been on.
Okay,
The
hey,
kid that-
hey, so I just want to know why you support President Trump. So you're running an argument for religion. It's called Pascal's wager. I could refute Pascal's wager, and I could indicate to you why that's not a good position. I just want to know why you support the president.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and switch. But I just
Wait,
thought-
wait. What do you? So you would okay? Answer the prompt. I just want to know why you support Trump. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Switch over to the actual prompt. The reason I support Trump is mostly because I think that the left ideas are too far left, and I think that the conservatives more hold moral beliefs that they implement throughout society.
Okay,
I
so
think
what's
that
one
the
of
left-
the policies that Kamala Harris ran on that was too far left?
Yeah, I think that, for example, her issues on LGBTQ people, her stance on abortion in particular, I think these are all issues that are way too far left, and I think that that's never going to work.
Okay, so it's kind of difficult for us to have a conversation about the LGBTQ plus community on TikTok Live because it's likely that it's a conversation that will get us taken down. But I would like to clarify, what were her beliefs there that were too far left?
Yeah, I feel like it's one thing to say that you support something; it's another thing to full-heartedly promote it throughout society. I feel like she wasn't just saying that abortion is a right, but more so forcing.
Wait, you think that abortion is is something? What does abortion have to do with LGBTQ plus?
No, you said that we were allowed to talk about that, so I switched it
No,
to.
I said which one of her beliefs as it relates to the LGBTQ plus was too far left?
Oh yeah, I think that it seemed like she was going after kids, youth.
How?
I saw an interview about these kids with their mom or their parents, and these kids were literally crying because they have been influenced by the left. They were crying and saying that this girl was scared that she was going to walk around and get killed by a Trump supporter. These are the kind of ideologies that are being forced on kids that
so
these kids are fearing for their
indoctrinate. So
lives.
having children be pushing political beliefs on children, and that's why you voted for the right.
Well, why are these kids scared for their lives?
Okay.
And why are they scared that they're not going to get medication? These kids should not be having to worry about getting medication for a false ideology.
Okay, so I'm just really confused of the argument that you're making. You're saying that you voted for Trump because children shouldn't be scared of getting medication for false ideology. So that
Yeah,
sounds
and
like
Trump
gibberish to
would
me.
never
I think
support-
that I need you to be a little bit more explanatory insofar as what that means.
Yeah, so I'm saying that Trump would never support this ideology.
What
However,
ideology?
that kids can switch genders. That
Oh, got it. So you're basically saying that people on the left say kids can be trans, so therefore you voted for the tyrant that has walked America into a recession, has cut trillions of dollars out of the stock market, and wants to redistribute wealth from the poor to the rich. So here's a really funny part.
that's one of I gave you one example.
MAGA in the 2024 election cycle spent close to $300 million on pushing propaganda as it relates to T people. Okay? So T people account for 0.01% of the overall population, T children even less. And that is why you vote and support the destruction and demise of this country. I just think that it is more so resemblant of you being out of alignment with reality, not having any genuine care for anybody outside of yourself, and more so treating politics like a video game where you could just hate for fun, even if it only generates negative outcomes. Like, I'm pretty sure that a recession is more of a threat to this country than trans youth. I mean, wouldn't you say? I'm pretty sure that a president that has sent America into a constitutional crisis, ignoring Supreme Court orders, specifically calling for the termination of the Constitution or rigging the outcome of a presidential election is more of a threat to this world than trans youth, right?
Yeah, so Dean, I feel like you're not being fair right now. I told you one of the reasons I voted for him, and I'm saying that I do not want to vote against my morals. So that is one reason.
Yes, you do. You vote against your morals. You're a Christian. In voting for Trump, you're voting against Christian morals. One of the
I did not
biggest
say I
sentiments.
was Christian. When did I say I was?
What's your
Christian?
religion?
I'm non-religious.
Okay, you are the first argument that you're trying to run on me when you joined was to convince me that a God exists.
Yeah, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. That doesn't mean that I would resonate myself.
You see how he's a gaslighter, and you just caught him in a gaslight, and now
Yeah.
he's just
How
got
is
to
that
come up with some other
gaslighting?
reason.
Many Christians,
So
people who
what is-
believe in
Dude,
Jesus
I
are
really
considered-
don't like this guy.
Yeah, me
Why?
neither. Hey, real quick, what is the definition of
That's
the word
not like-
Christian?
Christianity.
He got a violation. All right,
That
I
person
guess.
comes on like all the time. That person's a troll. Like they literally like I promise you that's someone we talked to like literally like yesterday.
I don't even remember them.
Someone said they brought up Margaret Singer yesterday. If that reminds you.
Oh, is that the same guy?
Someone said they brought up Margaret Singer
If
yesterday.
that was the same guy, he got absolutely shit on. I guess we're gonna move on to the next guest. Yeah, I think he tried. Oh yeah, if that was the same guy, he tried to come up and argue that access to abortion is racist. What's going on, Dr. Bob? Do you support Trump?
Oh shit! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come
No
up.
worries. I mean, I'd hate to be him. Like, imagine like being like absolutely like so fucking focused on like trying to like destroy Dean in a debate, but every single attempt, every single time you try to come up and have a conversation, you just end up getting embarrassed. What's going on, Goober? Do you support Trump?
No, I just want to say I'm proud of you and God bless you and you're great.
Thank you so much for the love. We're going to move on to the next guest, everyone. Just looking for some debates here. Linda, thank you so much for the $20 donation over on PayPal. That is incredibly kind of you, Linda. Thank you so much. Linda says, I searched for you on YouTube and a Charlie Kirk ad came up.
Oh gosh.
Do you know that's intentional? Do you know, like, I worked in advertising forever. When you secure like ad slots on any search engine, realistically, you basically give them targeted keywords. So that means that Charlie Kirk's PAC organization, Turning Point, most likely, in like their ad campaigns, has Dean Withers as a targeted keyword in their campaign, which is pretty funny. What's going on, Cold? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, he's just much better than Kamala, to be fair.
Okay, what time is it, to be fair?
Huh?
What time is it?
9.
9? Yeah, get out of here, bro. Just looking to talk to people from America, y'all. If you are in that queue, make sure that you're from America. You're at least 18 years old and you do support the president, y'all. We're going to go and get that next guest up in here right now.
And Janelle, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. Happy Easter. Thank you so much.
Hey, what is going on, Chad? Do you support Trump? Chad, do you speak? I guess not. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we are, everyone. Let's get Emma up on that box, y'all. All right, up in that box. What's going on, Emma? Do you support Trump?
Hi. No, actually, I came up with a research.
All right, we're going to move on to the next guest, you guys. Please stop requesting if you're not a Trump supporter. Please. Do I need to say pretty, please? What's going on, Epic? Do you support Trump?
Donald Trump hates China because they have a cooler wall.
Do I have to say pretty, please? Like what do I have to say to what do I have to say to stop you guys?
I also don't have a mod on this account, just letting you know.
I'll make sure to mod you. We're gonna go and get the next guest up in the box right now. It's like is there any words that I could speak with my mouth? Hi Zay, do you support Trump?
No, it was by accident.
No worries. Moving on to Annie. Here we go, everyone. Just give us a minute, y'all. What's up, Annie? Do you support Trump?
It's confusing. I like some parts of Harris and some parts of Trump, but I'm more on the Trump side.
Okay, what's that?
I was wondering. I have a question. Why do you think Harris is better than Trump? Like, are there any reasons?
Yeah, for sure. But before I do, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2010.
Annie.
What? What? People exist that were born in 2010? That's diabolical. Think of the galaxy, though. Thank you so much.
They're like what? Like 14, 15 now?
Dude, that's diabolical, bro.
That's kind of crazy that people born in 2010 are like 14, 15 now.
I know. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. We're going to go and get that next guest up here. I guess no debates today. Hey, man, if you're one of the 4,000 people listening and you support the presidency, do a favor, hop in that queue for me and spam MAGA down below in that chat. What's going on, D-Bomb? You support Trump?
I do.
Age, please.
18.
Okay, why are you making your voice deeper than it is?
I know some people saying in the comment section word Boris does too is wild.
Free Palestine. I'll leave.
Bro, what do I have to say to like stop you from requesting in the future? Just let me know, like seriously, because like
Well,
I'm
okay,
coming.
listen,
I have this struggle. Like no,
since you're letting me talk,
let me ask
and
you.
you're letting me.
Let me ask you a real question. What do I have to say in the future to stop you from requesting? Please tell me.
Seriously.
Tell me what I have to say to stop you from requesting in the future. Okay, because
we really need to know. There's like too many people that do this, and we gotta start studies.
I completely understand, but let me say one thing. Since I'm the one person that you haven't kicked yet, okay?
Can you just answer my question, please?
I don't know. I think there's not that many good, intelligent Trump supporters. So you're getting just these people.
I know. I'm
unfortunately.
talking about like people that don't support Trump that request, even though I'll repeat like 10 times, don't request if you're not a Trump supporter. So what do I need to vocalize in order for you to know that there's a clear boundary, which means that you should not join the guest request?
Dean, I think what he's trying to essentially say is there's nothing you could have said.
Yeah, I understand. That's fair. I get what you're saying. I'm just
so like, is there nothing I could have said?
Nah, not really, man.
Okay. Thank you, I guess, so much for letting me know. We're gonna go ahead and move on to
That's
Theo.
what I felt like it was. That's what I felt like it was.
Yeah, bro. Hey, what's up? You support Trump? Get out.
I actually like the sound.
We're gonna go.
That was
move on.
that was the best troll yet. Yeah.
What's going on, Nicholas? Do you support Trump?
Hey, Dean, I would recommend you to like on Discord to like how do I say this, to actually pick people.
He was saying something other than he supported Trump, so he got kicked. What's up? You support Trump ending?
Do you?
Oh, hey, it's you, the guy that still hasn't been able to find my address after like a year and a half.
Let's compare.
He's been that was a Trump supporter, but he's a little too in the deep end for me. He's been trying to dox me for like 2 years and has never been able to do it. What's up, Cass? You support Trump?
No, I hate him.
Okay, why, Cass? What are you doing?
I don't know.
All right. So listen, I feel like I'm making this to be a pretty big deal because it is. All right, like right now we're on one of my backup accounts. And it might be Dean. I mean, look at the name. It says DeanX6. This is like my 6th backup account. A majority of the people that will inevitably find their way to this live are going to be liberals. Why? Because I'm a like pretty damn big liberal content creator, right? So what that also means is it's more important now than in like one of my typical streams on like on my usual streaming accounts to stay very far away from the requests if you don't support the president. You know, if like you usually come up and troll or whatever, like this is one of those lives where you should not do that at all. And the reason why I say that is because like in these lives specifically, we are going to have a disproportionate amount of liberals watching, which means there's going to be a disproportionate amount of liberal trolls in the queue. All right. And like the funny thing is, if you guys like don't stop doing this, if you don't stop joining that queue, like the streams lose their value, because the values of these streams is for there to exist conversation between the Dims and MAGA. All right, is for people like me, people Parker, me and Parker to converse with people that support the presidency, and when we just have a bunch of liberals hopping in that queue that don't support the presidency, well, there's no longer any value in this stream. Right? So if you're a liberal and you want to see MAGA crumble and you don't like the current administration and you want to prop up valuable conversation to help perpetuate good ideologies that oppose the MAGA regime, don't troll, okay? Because in trolling, you basically stomp on any value that these live streams can have to further the success of this country, all right? So this is like my small way that I want to benefit the country, and you're just canceling that out. You're negating it. You're saying there's no value in these streams the moment you start trolling because it prevents any productive dialogue from happening. So I really hope that you guys respect that. All right. We're going to move on to the next guest, everyone. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
So my suggestion is just to start banning more seriously. Just replace kicking with banning when people join and say, "Hey, I'm trolling" or whatever. Obviously not me, because like I'm saying this like not to troll, but I'm just saying like if you're more intentional with banning, I feel like that's more of an incentive for people to not join.
I'm gonna lose my mind, but thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. Hello, Brian. Do you support Trump?
No, I hate Trump. Us liberals are stupid.
No, I think that's
Yeah, this is probably a Trump supporter. Why do you support Trump, Brian? We know.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, we know you do.
You're wrong.
You totally voted for Donald Trump. I'm sorry. You just didn't want to talk about it. You totally did. Only can we get Trump supporters to like troll and say that they hate him. What's going on? Yes, please. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Oh God! You know, I never thought I would be this happy to talk to such an extremely crazy person.
How's the heart doing, Dean? How's the heart doing, and how many boosters are you on?
Well, I'm on my 17th booster. I'm actually scheduled for my 18th tomorrow morning with Dr. Fauci's niece. And the heart.
Really?
is-
I've actually got like 42 at least.
Well, you're a better liberal than I am. But the heart is doing better. I mean, I just need to get more boosters.
Yeah, it looks like your little ideology led you to a heart condition there, along with millions of other.
Really? I'm vaccinated and I don't have any heart problems.
So I actually ended up getting it tested. I'm all good.
Well, I don't know, man. It's pretty unusual for people your age to have heart conditions.
So why are you saying it's related to a vaccine? Why is he saying it's related to the vaccine?
Also, fun fact.
Because it is. Myocarditis is a documented side
And it's
effect of
significantly more likely to happen with COVID. Dean, have you ever got COVID?
No, I've never
you're
got
full
COVID.
of crap, man. Interesting.
Yo, yes, please. I want to point it out. When it comes to the vaccine, I've kind of been like a bad liberal. So I think for the original vaccine, I was supposed to get 2 shots. I only got 1, and I've never got any boosters.
Oh, jeez, bro.
Did you know that?
Jeez.
Yes, please.
Dean is an L.
Oh,
Bro.
you're an anti-vaxxer now.
No, I'm not an
Come on,
anti-vaxxer.
man.
I
What
just,
brand was it?
I just never got it done. I was lazy.
Well, it looks like that's where your
So,
ideology
so
leads,
maybe
is
I have
to
these heart
hearken
conditions because I didn't get enough vaccines.
Yo, dude,
Well, I don't know.
he
Which
just,
one
I'm
did
not
you
gonna
get?
lie, he just got
Pfizer?
cooked on that, but
J&J? What brand? Do you even remember?
No, I don't. I'm also not gonna lie. The only reason like I got the vaccine when I did was just so I could go out of country and it was required. I was like really lazy with that. That was like probably a bad decision on my own. But anyways, tell us why you support Trump.
well, Dean, your life since then has been just mostly sitting in your room debating people on the internet.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have much contact with the outside world. But yeah, definitely get vaccinated. You know, like we shouldn't be lazy, of course.
Yeah, see, you're telling people to get vaxxed, and it's leading to young people with heart conditions.
Wait. Okay.
How
So
do you
again,
feel about that? You got
again,
a clean slate with that?
if you get vaccinated, you are less likely to undergo any of those types of issues. So obviously, I am happy with people getting vaccinated because the science is very clear that like it's better for them. Okay, so if someone
No,
can't
that's
if someone, oh, you say it's false? Can you give me any evidence otherwise? Because there's literally 25 plus pages right in my bibliography of peer-reviewed studies that show evidence that the COVID vaccine is effective, safe, and good for people to take if they medically can.
Also, I'd just like to point out that this is nothing more than like an incredibly lackluster, illogical talking point. So, I mean, when we have millions of Americans, shit is bound to happen to people. Some people are bound to get heart palpitations. It's a statistical truth, alongside plenty of other negative ailments in which can hurt humans. Right? Now, somebody on the right can look at a random person that never got the vaccine and say, oh, well, this ailment that they got in the year of 2025 is because they didn't get vaccinated with no evidence. Or somebody on the right can say, oh, this ailment that this person that did get vaccinated in 2025 got was from the vaccine with no evidence. It's just a lackluster word burger, nothing burger. That means absolutely nothing. So let's try to have a real productive conversation. Just tell us why you think the Trump administration's good.
Well, you know what? Maybe you guys were right on a couple things because number one, he's really dragging his feet on the mass deportations, which we all voted for. And number two, he's starting to create anti-Semitism, hate speech laws and stuff like that. So he has wearied away from who we thought he was, and he's disappointed a lot of his mega base. But I mean, he's still the best bet over Kamala. What she had to offer. We would have still had open borders. At least he's gotten rid of thousands.
One, Trump said recently that he wants open borders. Two, can you tell me what open borders are?
Well, immigration to you guys is letting foreigners come and putting them up in hotels and throwing away their papers at the border before they walk across and giving
You're
free
just like,
cell
okay,
phones
I'm asking you
cards.
like what is an open border?
Well, that's an open border. To you, an open border is
Isn't like
where
no
people
restrictions?
can just ditch their documents and walk across the border.
So like if you're
go
saying
and
no
get their
restrictions,
text message instructions
so
to
to
the
be
Row
clear,
Hotel in
yeah,
New York
to be
City.
to be clear, you think there were no restrictions on immigration under Biden's administration?
I mean, they allegedly led into 11 million.
Answer. What's the answer to the question? Were there no restrictions
I
under
don't know the
Biden's
answer to
administration?
that.
You don't know? There clearly were restrictions, right? If you think that there weren't restrictions, I'm sorry, but you live in an alternate
We
universe.
saw El Paso. We saw the tens of thousands of people there.
In what
crossing
universe?
daily,
In what universe?
Monthly, up to 50,000 people. Gangsters. They've already sent back a lot to El Salvador. They found the leader of MS-13. I think it was Venezuelan gangster, 30 minutes out of Washington, D.C. How did he get there? The leader of MS-13, which originates in South America somewhere, and they just picked him up and they're deporting him shortly. How the hell did that guy get there? What to speak of all the other gangsters the Democrats brought in here who are now terrorizing people by breaking into their homes.
The Democrats.
And
Wait,
stealing cars
so to clarify,
and
you think
doing
the
all kinds of,
Democrats?
crime.
So to clarify, you think like Democrats like hand selected like people who are committing violence into the country, right? If you're gonna reference like people who are coming to the country and they're undocumented, multiple times lower rate of violent crime, drug crime, and property crime. This idea that there's like a bunch of violent criminals that were brought into the country under the Biden-Harris administration is ridiculous, especially because the Biden-Harris administration deported disproportionately more violent criminals than Donald Trump. Secondly, Donald Trump released violent criminals into the country who beat police officers on January 6th. Are you gonna reference any of those people?
Yeah, if you want to see what a January 6th looks like, you should go over to Syria and see what happens when an actual insurrection takes place. With people with long arms and all types of sidearms and fire who actually take out political parties and overtake and do real insurrections. What you got over on that was a riot at best on January 6th. And you guys use that.
Can you define insurrection?
You do all your other crap and use
I would
it
love
as
a definition of
stage for all
insurrection.
the other crap that you guys were going to pull.
Hey, dude, you have a definition of insurrection?
It wasn't January 6th. That's a riot. An insurrection is something that looks like Syria, where people are walking around.
I asked for like a definition. How many beers? Dude, it's not even 5 o'clock yet.
Eliminating political people,
How many beers?
Eliminating civilians. That's what a real insurrection.
How many beers?
No
Hey, dude, real question, man. How many beers?
I'm back. Sorry, I've been like spaced out.
Yeah, because you got the brave fog from the Pfizer, man.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
your
can you tell me
consequence.
how many beers? How many beers? Seriously,
Okay.
dude.
All right.
Can you tell me how many beers you
Yo,
down?
All right, let me just hop in here real quick. Yo, yes, please. What's your name, man?
What's my name?
Yeah, I want to address you by name. You could give me a fake one. I don't mind.
Okay, you can call me Yes, please.
Okay, I'm gonna call you Connor.
Yes,
Okay?
Connor, I like that.
Connor, here's the deal.
Come
You're
on.
saying that I got brain fog from the vaccine. No, I got brain fog from people like you screaming at me for 4 hours a day. It's hard for me to handle. Okay. Anyways, let's just have a quick conversation. Why do you support Trump?
No, let's call him Gary, actually. He's a Gary. I saw that in the chat.
So let's just restart. Gary, why do you support Trump?
I support Trump because he's cleaning up the mess that the 4 years of Biden Kamala left.
Okay.
The scourge of illegal immigration and the drugs being brought over the border and open border and all
Oh,
the
wait,
other
I'm going to
crap
ask you a
that
question about that. I'm going to ask you a question about that. Then I got to kick you. So about the DRUGS over the border, let me ask you a question. What percentage of those are brought into America by citizens?
Well, I mean, we can only speculate on that, but
No,
it's
okay.
every 11 minutes a
So
young person
I will-
dies in America from the.
I muted you because I didn't want you to say a word that would get the TikTok live to get taken down. Don't say the names of any DRUGS. I literally preemptively muted you because I don't want to have to kick you.
Yeah, I did, and I know about TikTok grooming speech.
Listen, anyways, hey, so it's around 85% to 90% of the DRUGS that are trafficked are brought across the southern border are brought across by citizens. So if Donald Trump cares about the DRUGS coming into this country across the southern border, can you please name one time he's literally even just stood in front of a mic at a podium and virtue signaled about how he's going to crack down on these citizens bringing them into this country?
One time, come on, man. He's done it dozens of times.
Sure, then just give me one where he
Dozens of
specifically
times.
talks about the citizens. Because as far as I'm aware, every single time I've heard Donald Trump talk about immigration and talk about the border, it's just been to absolutely shit on undocumented migrants, calling them alien MS-13 gang members that are going to eat your children and like grape your wife. I've never once heard him talk about the real issues that exist with our systems of immigration, such as the mass amount of citizens in which are bringing DRUGS into this country.
41 bottles of beer.
Right,
So
and
can
he
you please-
stopped that. The border is a ghost town now. You go to the streets in New York, you don't have all those people selling all their stolen stuff on
So
the side of
so
the
then
street
give
on
me
their
one time that he's
blankets.
talked about citizens bringing DRUGS into this country.
He campaigned on that.
Okay, give me. Then it should be pretty.
Dozens of times.
So it should be pretty easy for you to find me a clip. Then go ahead, find a clip.
Well, I'm not gonna go looking for it. You
Oh,
know,
be,
it's
yeah, because you know it
ridiculous
doesn't
that you'd
exist.
even
It's
ask for
because
that.
you know that it doesn't exist. That's right? I'm not gonna
He
lie, Parker.
made
I
it
can't hear
clear.
myself think with you singing in the background. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at like thinking and speaking with like other people like speaking.
I
at
didn't
the
know
same
you could
time.
hear me that well.
No, it's
I
okay.
thought it was
No,
like
it's
a very
okay.
Well,
slight
all
sound.
you guys do, you guys produce is homelessness. You produce hopelessness.
Can you give me one policy that
There's
Donald Trump
nothing good
influenced?
that comes out.
Wait, hold
What
up.
comes out of your
Hold up.
ideology
Can you give me one policy?
conditions
Give me
in
one
young
policy that
people.
Donald Trump influenced to get passed that would reduce homelessness.
There's stuff happening now. We can't put our finger on it right now.
He's actually going to increase homelessness. He's going to increase homelessness and violent crime. My argument for this is that his economic policy redistributes wealth from the poor to the rich. This is according to the Institute on Taxation and Economics. It reduces the purchasing power of anybody making under $395,000 per year. And fun fact, that will increase poverty, which increases homelessness and, you know, obviously also increases violent crime. So, yeah.
Well, anyways, you know, I just want to say, yeah, your ideology leads to heart conditions in young people, and you're the prime example of that, Dean. So, well done.
Okay, so you're not going to respond to anything I just said because you know that you're wrong and you don't really care because you're a cult
I
member.
don't know the whole homeless thing. That wasn't one of his campaigning platform points, you know, but all the people they brought in to kick all the seniors out of seniors' homes so they could fill them with illegal migrants. I don't know. Maybe those people will
That's
get
just wrong.
their houses,
Wait.
but
Are
maybe
asylum
they'll have
seekers?
more
Wait,
options.
is asylum a legal process?
When you cross that illegal entry point, which none of these people did.
Okay, no, that's just not true. The law prior to Biden signing in an asylum law specifically was that you could just come into the country through any means, and then you literally just identify yourself to authorities, right, as someone who's seeking asylum, or certain
They
designated
had
areas. You don't have to go through a port of entry prior.
CBP app, Parker,
Yeah, which existed
where
under
they-
Trump.
where they could go and fill out the app. They have
Under
people
Trump
who
in
practice
2020
who
because
use
of
that
COVID.
app to fill out their details so they could fast process them over the border. They could fill out any details whatsoever.
Can
None
I
of
ask you a
it
question
had
real
to
quick?
be
What
honest.
state do you live
None
in?
of it had to be anything.
What state do you live in?
Go ahead. I live in Montana.
Montana?
Thank you
What
for the
ti-
finger hearts.
What's the capital of Montana?
Butte.
Can you tell me 3 cities within Montana?
Yeah, I mean, why?
I just want to know 3 cities in Montana.
There's Butte, there's Riddell, and there's. Okay, I'm not from Montana, but I'm not going to dox myself.
You're not doxing yourself by giving a
With all
state.
your crazy ass libtard friends.
He's a slur.
That's all they do.
All right, everyone, we're
What
going
do
to
we
move
have?
on to the next guest. Everyone, just go ahead and just give us a moment to get that next guest up in here. We got Lissa loading in. That guy was a true cult member. That is like the staple. That is like the staple cult member. We're going to go and get that next guest up in here right now. Everyone, if you are in that queue, make sure that you do support Trump. If you're one of the 5.7 thousand people watching on TikTok, make sure that we're double tapping away on our phone screen. Everyone, just go ahead and just give us a minute and do be patient.
What you think you're doing? Don't you live in the Bronx? How the fuck you came all the way over here? You taking this shit way too serious.
That guy's just watching TV. All right. Also, make sure that we're double tapping away on that phone screen. So hopefully we can shoot this
Oh, this guy.
Dick
Look at his bio.
Live out to more people. That would be
What's
phenomenal,
up,
quite
dude?
frankly. What's going on, James? Give me one moment. I got to thank a couple really kind people for their phenomenal donations. Vic, thank you so much for the 50 pounds over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much for the love, Vic. I want to see at least 500 W Vics down below in that comment section. Literally right now, you guys. Oh my God, Vic. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Vic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then also Allison with the $50 donation as well over on YouTube. Thank you so much for the love, Vic and Allison. That is so incredibly kind of you guys. Everybody, please show some love to Vic and Allison down below in that comment section, literally right now, for the $50 each. Allison says, for my mom in the hospital. Oh my God. Go get Charlie. Help us turn College Station blue. We will still try. Please give your mom my best wishes, and I hope that she is able to fully recover from whatever has landed her in the hospital. Guys, please, seriously, show some love to Allison and her mom, and as well as Vic, as well as two other people. Carrie with a $40 donation on Venmo, 400 Carrie W's. Carrie says, happy Friday. Quite frankly, happy Friday to you too. And then Olivia with a $50 donation on Venmo saying, I'm sorry, I promise I don't like Trump. I didn't mean to join the live or disrespect. Oh, if you accidentally joined, no worries, Olivia. Thank you for the love. Huge shout out to Olivia and Carrie, you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys so very, very much. All right, Mr. James, do you
Can I
support
say thank you to
Trump?
two people real quick?
Yeah.
Sam, thank you so much for the $17. Thank you so much, Sam. I really appreciate celebrating my 25th birthday with my cat on my lap and the cover Americans debating the Americans that scare me. Thanks for all you do. Cheers. Yo, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Sam. Happy birthday. I hope you have a good birthday. As well as Sid, thank you so much for the $50 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I do. Don't worry. Thank you so much, though, Sid. Can we get some W's for Sid in the comment section? And then also Tree sent this just now. Thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I will make sure to look. I'll make sure to look. I haven't seen the message they sent me yet, so I'll try to look tonight.
So, James, do you support Trump?
Absolutely. All right. So I'm not going to debate anything. I just have two questions,
James, but
and
we wanna
can
debate.
debate it. But well, hold on. You can debate this, but let's see where you stand on this. Do you stand with everyone else by impeaching President Trump for the stock market going down and up and all that, and the
I think
I'm not going to give away my answer.
I think if Trump was to be impeached right now, it should probably be for like
No.
a lack of a concern for the Constitution.
We're not talking about the other stuff. I understand, but we're not talking about the other stuff. I'm just talking about the stock market stuff.
Oh, like for his tariffs? I mean, if a movement started
Yeah,
in
for,
Congress
like, his tariffs
to,
and, like-
to impeach Donald Trump for his economic policy that he's passed so far in his administration, I'd support the movement.
But okay, so Cory Booker went on and said that he wants to impeach Donald Trump because there's a lot of smoke, he says, that he influenced the stock market so his billionaire friends and other mega Republicans
manipulation?
can get rich off the stock market.
So market manipulation?
Stock market manipulation.
Is that a federal crime?
Do you support that?
Is
What?
that a federal crime?
Yes, but hold on. I'm
So then
asking you a question.
do you support holding people accountable for federal crimes?
Okay, I'm gonna get there, but I'm saying, do you support?
Yeah, if Donald Trump
being
exercised
brought up on
if Donald Trump exercised market manipulation and insider trading, I would support a movement for impeachment.
Okay, then I agree
you're
with your-
totally against
your
Nancy
answer.
Pelosi doing it, but you're totally cool with Trump doing it.
Sorry, I
Wait,
got a
just
phone
James.
call.
James,
Did you say Parker?
James, you asked a very clear question, and I'm giving you a very clear answer. I just want to see where this is going. I would support a movement for impeachment for if it is true that he did manipulate the market and did do insider trading with his billionaire friends. Yeah.
Okay, so with me saying that, because I'm in agreement with that. If he did do that, then yes. But all we have as evidence for that is smoke, and maybe he did that. If there was clear-cut evidence of him doing that, then yes, he should be impeached.
Okay, all right.
But
so
what about all the other Congress? What about all the other Congress members that have gotten rich off the stock market,
Like,
should
man.
they be investigated before Donald Trump?
We asked you that question.
I think that everybody in Congress who has plausibly manipulated the market and committed insider trading deserves investigation. Yeah,
Absolutely.
including Democrats like Nancy Pelosi. I'm actually surprised Nancy Pelosi is now
Okay,
under official
so-
investigation.
Okay, so we're all in agreement.
do you
there.
support that?
And this wasn't a left or right. Yes, absolutely support it. 110%.
Okay.
I didn't think you guys supported it only because there's been liberal content creators that don't support that and just want to see Donald Trump get investigated for it, but maybe he didn't do anything wrong.
I
Nobody
think that
really knows the truth
everybody,
because no one's investigated
I think that
it yet.
everybody in the American government holds a lot of power, and with a lot of power means that you are supposed to be held to an incredibly high level of accountability. And I would apply this to anybody, regardless of their political affiliation. And I find that to be the difference between me and the typical Trump supporter, is that the typical Trump supporter forgoes, ignores, and expels any form of accountability that should be applied to the president. But now I'll just merely move on and ask you to please demonstrate to us why you believe that the Trump administration is doing a good job.
Well, I'm not saying that they're doing a great job.
Okay,
There is a
well-
lot of things they can improve on.
So why do you
And-
support the administration?
Why do I still support it?
Yeah, why do
Or
you
are
support the
saying,
Trump
why do I
administration? Yeah,
support it?
like, do you think that Donald Trump right now is doing a better job as president of this country than Kamala Harris would have?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, why is that?
Only because he's going against the hard stuff. And for example, let's talk about this. The whole going against the courts and stuff like that. A lot of people, a lot of Congress, a lot of House representative asked Pete Hegseth if he would follow the orders if President Trump told him to nuke, like say Greenland, right? Or invade Greenland. And he wouldn't answer it straight up, but everybody knows you still follow the Constitution before the President of the United States. And so if the administration believes that they're in the right completely by ignoring a judicial officer, like say a judge that's doing mass completely against policies, like policies that he's trying to implement, and every judge is saying, no, you can't do that. And we're not saying every judge. I mean, like any one particular judge across the country can say that. That to me is like, we should have some kind of checks and balances there for judges, because there's over what a thousand
I just want you to
judges
stop
for-
talking real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
I want you to tell us why you think that Trump is doing a better job than Kamala Harris would have. That was a question that I asked you.
I don't think. Well, I mean, Kamala Harris was going to come in and she was going to do the same thing Biden did.
Okay, so you didn't
Every
like the
Democrat
Biden-Harris
does
administration?
except for President Obama.
Okay, so you didn't like the
I
Biden-Harris
believe
administration?
Kamala
One-
Harris
one
would have
second.
done the same thing as the Biden-Harris.
Okay, so what was one bad piece of legislation that the Biden-Harris administration passed?
I mean, there's tons. So we've had this conversation before. That's why I'm not going to debate it again. The Jobs and Infrastructure Act.
What?
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, the Tax Cuts and
So
Jobs
we've
Act.
had this debate before. I'm not going to rehash it, and then
We've already had the
like
conversation.
I just want to get your guys' opinion.
Okay,
Yeah.
according to James, we've already spoken, so I guess we'll just kick him and move on. All right, we're going to move on to the next guest, you guys. If you're in that queue, make sure that you support Trump. The last two guests have been a little bit incoherent, but, all right, we're going to hopefully move on to the next, and hopefully the conversations for the day get a little better.
Hopefully so.
And Michael, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal, as well as the message. That means the world to me. Thank you, Michael. Everyone, please show some love to Michael, as well as Haley with a $15 donation on PayPal. Thank you so much. And then Sam with a $20 donation on PayPal. Show some love to Haley and Sam in the comment section, and as well as say happy birthday, Sam, because Sam says, celebrating my 25th birthday with a cat on my lap and my computer watching you. Everybody, happy birthday, Sam, in the comment section right now. Thank you guys so much for the love. On top
Thank
of
you for the
Allison
subscription.
with a $20 super chat on YouTube saying, thank you, Dean. I will tell her. I really hope that you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for the $20, Allison, and then Tracy with the 10 saying, happy Easter. Is today Easter?
I think so. Some people have said that to me as well.
I think Easter's not until like Easter Sunday. So it's going to be this Sunday.
I don't know what day of the week it is. I don't know, to be honest with you.
It's Good Friday right now. Catholic
So it's in
schools
2 days.
coming in clutch.
I think they just mean like early Easter, like
Yeah.
before Easter.
It's Holy Week. Happy Holy Week for all of the good Christians watching the stream. Love y'all.
Progressive Christians.
What's going on, Mr. Found? Happy Holy Week to you. I see the cross in your profile picture. Do you support Trump?
And Sandy, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much, Sandy. And Russell,
I
thank you
accidentally
$3.
request up, but pre-election, I probably would have voted for him. But looking at the things that he's doing now, I do think he should be impeached, and
Hey, W
he's doing a lot of horrible stuff right now.
W to you, bro. I appreciate you for standing by your values compared to Trump's. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, you guys. Just looking for people that support the current administration. Go ahead and hop in the queue if that's you. We got Joey loading up right now, y'all. Everyone just go ahead and just give us a minute. If you're one of the 5.7 thousand people watching, make sure that we're double tapping away in that phone screen, and let's try to get up 2 million likes. What's going on, Joey? Do you support Trump?
I do not, but if I
Goodbye, Joey. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just be patient and give us a minute while we get Matt
Jesse,
loaded
thank
up
you
into
for
the
$2.
box. Here we are, everyone.
Rabbi with the dollar. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. All right, you guys. Yeah, I'm pretty. Easter is on 4/20. That's right. That's right. We're gonna have a great Easter, you guys.
I just realized that.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be on a plane on Easter. We're going. Out
Me
to,
too.
Yeah, we're going out to Texas. Yeah.
Texas.
Texas. That's right.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next guest, everyone. We got Lils loading up, guys. If you are a Trump supporter, just spam MAGA down below in the comment section. We'll get you up here. Hello, Lils. Do you support Trump?
Thank you, Dean, for making this world a better place. I'm sorry. Good.
Appreciate you for the love, Lils. I will politely ask my supporters to please not join the queue, as we're just looking for debates, but I appreciate you guys nonetheless, including you, Lils. All right, moving on. Here we are. What's up,
Hello?
Travis? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
19. What time is it?
4:45.
4. Yeah, really? What state are you in?
Philadelphia. Oh fuck no.
Philadelphia.
Philly. I'm in the state of Philadelphia.
And Kim, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Kim. I really appreciate that. W's for Kim in the chat. And Daniela, thank you for the $1.
All right, guys. Where's that next guest at? Yo, honestly, dude, if you want to come up here and debate, just spam MAGA down below in that chat. What's up, Rena? Do you support Trump? Rena left. Quite frankly. There's nobody to debate, everyone. There's nobody to debate. All the Trump supporters. I've changed everybody's mind. That's right. If you're watching this live and you're a Trump supporter and you don't want to come up and debate, guess what? You are a liberal. I've changed your mind. That's right. Then also pointing it out, if this live gets taken down, go to Linktree in my bio, join my YouTube. You already know. All right, man. All right, you cooked them all. That's right. We have moving on. Who's next? We got AD loading up into the box. Actually, I didn't click on this person, but they're loading in nonetheless. TikTok's being a little bit buggy at the moment. Where are the guests at, man? What's up, AD? Sport Trump?
Hell yes, I do.
Okay. How many packs?
What?
Don't worry about it. Why do you support Trump?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, well, this is a debate live.
I just think the liberals are taking over.
Did you just say, what did you just say?
The liberals are taking
The
over.
liberals are taking over. Well, actually, our president's a Republican. Congress is Republican. The Supreme Court is conservative leaning 6-3. What do you mean the liberals are taking over?
Nope.
He left. Okay. All right. See, a big aspect of MAGA is this victim complex reliant upon being like this oppressed class. And the way that they've kind of perpetuated that identity is by saying that the liberals hold all the power. But obviously that's not true. So, people that try to make that argument still yet today kind of get gagged rather quickly, I'd argue. Hello, Martin Time. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I voted for Trump.
All right, Wyman.
All right, listen, can we focus on this argument and not go sideways? Yeah?
Yeah, tell us why you support
I promise you I won't go sideways.
The Trump administration.
All right, so you guys, you liberals, you love 2 things or 3 things, right?
Well, I love a lot more than 3 things, but okay.
You love, all right, well, okay, fair. But you love Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, right?
Well, I think that there's a lot of inefficiencies in our government, and I haven't done an in-depth view into Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security to make the evaluation that I love the systems. Arguably, I'd hedge a pretty strong bet that they could be significantly better, but I still do think that social systems as a whole are good for people.
Yeah. So like two things I would say for that is that. What's up?
What, you work for Dodge or something?
Dodge? You mean Doge?
Doge? Yeah.
No, I don't think that they didn't even. I don't even think they like address like actually where the most of the waste spending is going to be in the Department of Defense. But secondly, if you want to talk about the Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, I would like to be Medicare for all. I would like everyone to have access to health care access. That'd be amazing, free at the point of service, so everyone is not discriminated against that in terms of things that they need, because it's security in terms of health, the same way we provide security in terms of health with like police officers or with firefighters.
So Parker and Dean, can we agree that these programs that we like, quote unquote, are not sustainable, right? They're going to run out in 10 years, right? 2035. We can't afford them anymore, right?
Not if we continue immigration, and it is the case that like we grow our economy. Secondly, like we can make the system faster, I mean, not faster, more efficient in terms of the revenue mechanisms for things like Social Security, right? If it is the case that like we over like the next 65 years or so, shift the like the funding mechanism from how it is currently to like a system where we get like $7,000 to $10,000 when we're born, and let's put in like an index fund until we are like 65. But for Medicare and Medicaid, if we have Medicare for all, that will save us around $450 billion a year. So you say we can't fund these systems? Well, we can't fund the current private healthcare system that is putting people in huge amounts of medical debt. That's what we can't fund. And what would save us money is a Medicare for all system.
Parker, you're lying when you say that we can fund this by doing XYZ. We cannot fund this like forever.
What?
It's not sustainable. We cannot fund
the
it.
private healthcare system right now costs more by $450 billion a year. The current healthcare system is what's bankrupting Americans, not Medicare for all, right? That wouldn't bankrupt Americans.
So we can fund tax cuts for billionaires, but we can't fund health insurance for low-income Americans.
Yep.
You can tax the billionaires, millionaires all you want. It will not cover the funds that it requires.
No, but I'm saying that the funds required to cut taxes for billionaires can be covered, but apparently not the funds required to pay for healthcare for low-income Americans.
Well, I'm here saying like we should tax everyone, middle class and the rich class, right?
Marin, think about it this way: there's a private cost to healthcare that people already spend, right? That cost is no different from looking at it if we do insurance through the government. Right? If you look at insurance through the government, it would be less costly for American citizens to get access to healthcare, because there's not an insurance middleman between you and your doctor that is ripping you off for profit.
Yes, maybe it'll be cheaper, but
it will be cheaper. It is cheaper in other countries that spend almost half as much per capita as we do here in the United States.
It will not be enough. It's not enough. We need to increase taxes on the middle class. That is the middle class.
If the middle class will happily pay more taxes if it is the case that they are going to get something in return, i.e. Medicare for all, right? Because the amount they're paying in taxes will be less than what they're currently paying in private healthcare every year.
Okay, well, I guess I'll agree with you there that we should increase taxes. Also, will you agree with me that increasing taxes on the millionaires and billionaires will not be enough?
In order to fund vast programs like that, yes, we obviously need to tax everyone in order to be able to get a program like that. But if you close loopholes, that will give us literally trillions of dollars more every single year, right, in revenues. With just our current tax structure. Canada does not have that much higher taxes than us. Right, and in plenty of respects, they have lower taxes depending on like the province. Or I can't speak.
I don't know shit about Canada. But the point being is that people hate to hear this. So I voted for Donald Trump on the basis that we need to extend these programs that we love, or by we I mean Democrats. We love Social Security, we love Medicare, we love Medicaid, but they also can't figure out a way to pay for it.
But wait. Okay, I like once again, I just want to relate back to the point. You're saying that we're having a crisis where we can't figure out how to pay for healthcare for low-income Americans, but then Donald Trump waltzes in and says, "Boom shakalaka, here's $8 trillion worth of tax cuts for millions and billionaires. Pass it, deal with it, add it to our deficit. Here's my debt." Like, I wish that if we wanted a president that was more like fiscally responsible and good for government expenditure, you would have voted for Kamala Harris, not only because of the track record of the Biden-Harris administration spending half as much as the Trump administration did, but also because her policy this time around cost a third as much as all of his combined. So I find it funny when people will come up here and argue that, you know, we need a presidency that's more fiscally responsible. We're running out of money, but then you vote for the presidency that is spending more of that money that apparently we're running out of. Laura, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love, Laura.
Also, there's a cap on Social Security tax that you could, if you removed, would literally just like be able to pay for it. Secondly, I advocate for subverting the revenue mechanism to make it more efficient. The system that I'm talking about and would be able to be applicable like in the long run, not in the short term.
So you're telling me that if you break that cap that you're talking about, it would fund
along with continued immigration.
Those three social programs for everyone is what you're saying.
Yeah, we'd be able to maintain the benefits. Whereas, like what you're advocating for is either getting rid of the benefits or reducing the benefits. Which one would you provide?
No, I'm not.
Why is what I said going in one ear and out another? Why am I not being addressed or responded to?
Sorry, Dean. Why don't we increase the age? Because the age that those benefits were originally devised from, right, where it was people were, their life expectancy was like what, 65, 70? Now people live a lot longer. Why don't we increase the age and so those benefits will last longer?
What? I don't know what he just said. Increase the what?
Like, you know how you receive those benefits, right? At like what, at 60, 65? Right?
Yeah, so are you saying you receive them later on in your life?
Yes.
So how old should you be?
So increase taxes on the middle class and push back the age of retirement.
Yeah, so
Yes,
what age should they
exactly.
at what age should they be able to retire?
I just would like to clarify. It doesn't even matter because you run on that policy, you lose. It's already been tried.
I just want him.
That's a
I
problem.
want him
That's
to.
a
I want him to
problem,
tell
Dean.
me what he thinks it should be, real quick though. Like what
Dean,
age?
That's the problem. Is that no one can run on that platform because if you say the truth,
That's not the truth. Answer the question.
it is the truth.
No, it's not. Answer
It's
the
the
question.
platform.
What age do you want it to be?
What is it now? Like 60?
It's 65 currently.
70.
You want it to be 70 years old? You think that people shouldn't be able to retire until they're 70? Here, chat, let me just ask y'all. Do y'all want to work until you're 70 years old?
Dude, I'm making a point here, and you know what I'm saying is reasonable. Like,
Okay, all right.
when they
So
first-
I
when they
would like to
first-
make my point again, and I hope that this time you're able to actually respond to it. Last time I said this, it just went in one ear and out the other.
All right, what?
If you want a presidency that's fiscally responsible and doesn't overspend, we're being more conscious of what we are spending, which seems to be the main motive that you're getting at here. Why did you vote for Trump? Not only did he spend twice as much as the Biden-Harris administration in his first term, but his policy this time around cost 3 times as much as what Kamala Harris proposed. And a lot of his reckless spending is not going into very important social safety nets like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, but rather into cutting the taxes of millions and billionaires, right? On top of his plan for mass deportation, which costs $175 billion up front,
sidetracking
that $100
me.
billion per year in reoccurring costs. So if you really care about the money that our government is spending, if you want to keep a closer eye on it, if you want to lock in, make sure that the deficit is shrinking, and we have more money to spend in places where it actually benefits Americans, seemingly Kamala Harris was a significantly better candidate.
First of all, I think that you're sidetracking because I was making a different point. But
So so if you think that this point is not conceptually related, I'll just merely ask you to leave the live, because I think that's just very disingenuous of you, and
that's
about it. I could go find another guest that won't be as disingenuous as you.
I know that's not the argument I was coming in with, but if you want,
it's a response to the position by merely just arguing that if you want fiscal responsibility and a closer eye on the deficit, so we can ensure the funds that our federal government has are spent in the right places, on top of just making sure that our government has more funds to be spent in the right places, Kamala Harris was the better stepping stone for the next 4 or 8 years.
All right, so if you want to go down that road, I'll go down that road, but the tariffs will fund some of that.
No. So we got a report from PBS that estimated that the tariffs so far have raised $500 million, and that's after Thanos snapping $10 trillion off the stock market and eliminating $1.17 trillion in projected GDP growth this financial quarter. So, like, like you're basically saying that we are going to pay like a couple $1 trillion here for $500 million in return. That is a bad business decision, sir.
Does what you just said account for the increased revenue from bringing businesses back here in the U.S.?
So actually, the government revenue goes down when GDP growth does, given same tax policy, and that is why government revenues go down, because we're heading into a recession due to the tariff policy.
Yeah, and if tariffs decrease GDP case that overall your revenue in general.
Yeah, like the government will have less revenue because right now American businesses are going into the shitter. Their exports are on the decline. Their raw materials cost more. There's less consumer confidence in the market, which means investors are pulling their money out of American businesses, alongside the fact that we're now in a trade war with the rest of the planet. Tariffs don't drive more manufacturing back to America, at least the tariff plan that Donald Trump has today. And by the way, the Mr. Moneyman, Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, agrees with me and disagrees with you. Even he said on a mic 2 days ago that the tariffs are going to be inflationary, as well as they're going to reduce GDP growth, which could indicate stagflation. So everyone agrees with me.
Everything that you said, everyone agrees with you. Sure, whatever. Everything you said, will that pay for those 3 programs: Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security?
So it's going to give us less money to fund to these programs. The reason why it's going to give us less money to fund to these programs is because government revenue will go down with negative GDP growth, as well as the money that the Trump administration is spending is in the wrong places, such as trillions of dollars for tax cuts for the ultra wealthy. So, I mean, it actually cripples these programs even more. And that's on top of the direct cuts that the administration has already made.
So, Dean, tell me.
No, you respond to what I'm saying, man.
What is your suggestion to...
I know. I'm not going to give you my suggestion on anything.
Why?
Because I want you to respond to the argument I just gave you.
Can you say it again?
No.
The point I'm trying to make is that these programs are not sustainable.
Okay, so you are trying to completely eliminate everything I just said. You're just going to ignore it. You're going to leave it in the dust. You're not going to consider it even for a second.
I'm not trying to eliminate it.
So then respond to what I said, please.
Which was what?
Chat, should I repeat myself or should I kick him? We'll leave it up to a vote from a democratic vote from the viewership.
Mayor, the point that you're saying is that you keep saying it over and over again. We've responded to it multiple times. We get that you don't think that it's going to be able to fund itself, but we've given you multiple reasons that it would be able to, and we can do certain things to keep it around and to not cut and slash benefits for people who need it.
Well, the Democratic vote heavily swayed towards kick, so we just removed him. Hello, Ray. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Mostly on abortion.
Okay, Mr. Ray. So you think that abortion should be in the hands of the state compared to being protected by the federal government, and why is that?
Well, I've seen many instances where people use abortion too freely as a form of birth control.
Okay. All
Many
right.
times, people close to me, cousins, having multiple abortions a year.
Yep. All right. Continue.
So I feel like that should be
All right.
limited.
Okay.
you think your cousin should be a cousin?
Wait, Parker, do you mind if I just run this argument real quick? I promise I'm setting up for a position here. Go ahead, Ray.
To at least where before a heartbeat is detected.
All right. So, is there any
'Cause I
other
believe
reasons
that that's
why?
one-
Is there any other reasons why you think that abortion is wrong outside of saying that you think women use it as birth control?
That I believe that once a heartbeat is created, that's when the soul would enter a body.
Oh, well, I'm just going to say that the soul enters the body when consciousness begins at 20 weeks. All of a sudden, we both have unfounded, unjustified hypotheses with no evidence to point towards them that are purely dependent upon our emotions and feelings. Where do we go from here?
You said what was that again? Sorry.
Yeah. So I believe that the soul enters into the body at 20 weeks with the occurrence of the ability to deploy consciousness. Once again, my hypothesis, just like yours, has no evidence to justify it, no fact to substantiate it, and is purely dictated on my emotions and thoughts and feelings, just like yours. Where do we go from here?
Are you familiar with Schrodinger's cat?
I'm not so sure how Schrodinger's cat would relate to a response to my question.
Well, we don't absolutely know when, I guess, sentience becomes into.
I do. It's at 20 weeks.
And all that? Okay.
I do. Once again, just unjustly founded upon my emotions, my thoughts, and my feelings. Just like your position about the soul entering into a fetus with the permanence of a heartbeat is unjustly founded upon your emotions, your thoughts, and your feelings. Where do we go from here? So we have two conflicting hypotheses of when the soul would enter the fetus of a body. Both of our hypotheses have no evidence for them. So how do we determine which hypotheses to operate our legislation upon?
Okay, let's steer away from the soul then, and let's just stick with the heartbeat, because that's when I feel life begins.
Okay, I have a question. Do dead things grow?
Yeah, some things, some dead things.
The answer is no. So the dead things don't grow. Would you agree that organic material is either only in two states? It's either alive or dead?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to clarify, if you think that life begins at the heartbeat, then before the heartbeat, the fetus is dead, right?
Yeah, so that I'm okay with abortions before the heartbeat.
Okay, so a fetus before the heartbeat is dead. So then why does a fetus before heartbeat grow? Are you saying that not only is the life of this fetus reanimated because it goes from being dead to alive, but then also this dead thing is growing, contradicting the last answer you just gave? Are you saying that all humans are technically zombies because we were all reanimated from being a growing dead thing to being alive?
No, because it's before the heartbeat, it's essentially a cancer.
Oh, what? No, is it dead before the heartbeat?
No, it's was it?
Wait, if it's not dead, then it's alive. So now you're
the
saying
pregnant person's tissue is what I see it as. So
is it dead? Is it dead or alive?
It's alive, but I see it as part of the pregnant person's body, such as a finger.
If it's alive before the heartbeat, then life doesn't start at the heartbeat.
Well, it's the mother's heartbeat.
So wait, pregnant women have two hearts?
No.
Well, I mean, the heart has to develop in the fetus before it starts beating.
Yeah.
So pregnant women at like one point or another have two hearts.
Yeah, I guess if you're if you eat a heart, you'd have two hearts inside of you. But it isn't until it starts beating on its own that I see it as its own being.
So if my heart stops beating, I'm no longer an individual person. Do I go back to being a part of my mom?
No, because you're no longer attached.
Okay, but I'm not my mom, but I'm also not my own person, right?
Well, you'd be dead if your heart is
So you think people whose hearts stop and then they get resuscitated? Do you think that they died and came back to life? They resurrected
Yeah.
from the dead.
Yeah, just like Jesus.
Just like Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then here's my question: someone who gets a heart transplant, right? Are you saying that they are
Become a
different?
new person?
Are they still alive even after the rest of their body's dead because their heart is in another person?
No.
Like no, but they're still
no,
alive. Their heart's beating.
That would be I guess the brain is who you are, but your heart is essentially your motor.
Why do you care about the motor and not who you are?
Wait. I want to clarify that, like functionally, there's a lot of parts of you that make you function, and if any of them were to stop functioning, you would cease to be alive, right? If you lost your brain right now, you're dead. If you lose your heart right now, you're dead. If you lose your lungs right now, you're dead. If you lose your kidneys, you're dead in 24 hours. I mean, there's like if you lose your nervous system, you're dead. If you lose your blood vessels, you're dead. Like the way that humans operate is via the independent action of multiple organ systems in your body that cooperatively work together to support your life. So when you say that,
Do you know the
why
boat
are you
argument?
interrupting me?
Sorry. Go ahead.
So did you listen to anything I just said?
Yeah. You're saying that...
Okay, listen, I just want to go back to your claim. So you're saying that the fetus's life... So life doesn't begin at conception, right?
No.
Okay, so then dead things can grow because a fetus grows from conception until the heartbeat occurs.
Well, it's not essentially dead. It's the
it's either,
pregnant person's
so it's
tissue
either alive
growing.
or dead. So which one is it? Is it alive or dead?
It's alive through the pregnant person.
So then life does begin at conception through the pregnant person.
No, because life was already there before conception.
What?
Life was there before conception. What are you talking about?
As the pregnant person is alive. It's essentially a cell going through the body into the
wait, like
into the womb.
I mean, just talking about like biological fact, like a unicellular human zygote, the first stage of human development, moments after conception, is not just the tissue of a woman. It would also include the sperm of a male reproductive system.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not simply the pregnant person's tissue. And in fact, it would possess distinct, unique human DNA apart from the pregnant person.
Yeah.
So it's not identical to the pregnant person.
It's part of the pregnant person. I was trying to bring up
it's a part of the pregnant person. So why is it no longer a part of the pregnant person after the heartbeat?
Because it's its own what is it? I see it as its own person, its own being.
Okay, but why don't you see it as its own person or its own being before the heartbeat? Because there's realistically, there's no biological distinction between the existence of a fetus prior to and after the heart begins beating.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like the function or lack thereof of an underdeveloped organ. This is just a very arbitrary line that you're drawing to say that this is when this human life starts, or this is when this human life does not exist, and it's rather just a part of the pregnant person. I mean, it has its own unique human DNA from the moment of conception.
Mm-hmm.
And 97% of biologists agree with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was the reason I voted, because I don't. I feel like.
But I want you to respond to what I'm saying. How could something
Uh-huh.
that has its own unique human DNA, right, that is growing, right, be a part of a pregnant person, but then when it grows to a sufficient degree to have semi-function of the underdeveloped organ of the heart, it is no longer a part of the pregnant person?
Well, it's attached to the pregnant person, but it's its own being, similar to a virus or a.
But this would be,
virus
but
or a
under your view, this would be true before and after the heart begins beating.
True. You got me there.
Okay, so then it's also a part of the pregnant person after the heartbeat.
Yeah, so there should be a moral, what is it? Obligation to keep it alive after the heartbeat.
Because it's a part of the pregnant person?
Because she's because they're what is it?
Why are you asking me to tell you what your argument is?
I know there's an entire argument of what is it? When people have sex, they're consenting to the risk of pregnancy.
We're not done talking about your views on the fetus.
Mm-hmm.
So you just conceded that under your view, it's a part of the pregnant person before and after the heart begins beating. So why does that obligation to keep it alive only begin when the heart begins beating?
Because it's its own life is what I'm trying to say.
But why is it not its own life before the heart begins beating? Last time you answered this question by saying,
Because
well, it's a part of the pregnant person. But remember, 30 seconds ago, you also conceded under your review that it's a part of the pregnant person after the heart begins beating, which would mean, given your logic, it's not its own life then either.
It is attached to the pregnant person.
It is also
I feel
attached
like-
to the pregnant person after the heart begins beating.
Yeah, so there's
So it's not its
obviously
own
the
life.
fetus wouldn't be able to.
According to you.
I would say it is its own life. But
Okay,
it's
even though it's
feeding off
attached?
of
Wait.
the pregnant person.
So I want to clarify
Feeding
that
off of-
before the heart begins beating, it's not its own life because it's attached to the pregnant person. But after the heart begins beating, it is its own life, even though it's attached to the pregnant person. So what's the relevant distinction? You're arguing in circles here.
Well, like virus would be its own life, would it not?
What?
Even though it's growing inside of a person.
So you're saying, okay, it's a virus once its heart begins beating?
No, I'm comparing it to a virus. I'm not saying it is a virus.
So it's like a virus when the heart begins beating. So why is it not like a
Before.
virus?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
so it's like a virus before the heart begins beating, but not like a virus after the heart begins beating. Why?
Sorry, I confused myself there. So once the heart starts beating, it is like a virus. but I'm not
What?
saying
You
the
just said
fetus
that it's
is-
like a virus
No,
before
I know.
the heart begins beating.
I had confused myself while I was speaking. Sorry.
Okay.
So
sorry for yelling at you.
Before the heartbeat, it is essentially like an organ of, or a, what is it? The tissue of the pregnant person. After the heartbeat, it is a life.
Okay, why?
Because it has a heartbeat. So like
Okay, so your argument is circular. You're saying there's a difference at the heartbeat because it has a heartbeat. Ray, I'm going to go ahead and just move on to the next guess.
Thank you.
What the fuck is going on today, bro?
I don't know, man. Haven't had a good few days. This has been brutal.
Dude, what is this shit,
Hey,
man?
how are you guys doing?
What's up, man? You support Trump?
Yes, socially. Yes, I think he's great socially.
So overall, do you think he's doing a better job than Kamala Harris would have?
I can't determine that. These presidents are random as
Really?
hell. Yeah, I can't determine that. I don't know what the hell she would have did or not did, or what worked or not worked. We can't determine that.
Can't you judge based upon like the positions you agree with that they have or not?
It depends on how shit work. You know how it goes. Sometimes shit you can have a good idea that don't work, and sometimes you can have a good idea that works. You can have a bad idea that works. You can have a bad idea. It's a
How about
fucking
this?
America.
Can I ask you like what policies of Donald Trump's that you agree with and what ones you disagree with on Kamala
Well, I
Harris'
said
side?
socially, I love the conversation we having about like gender identity and the abortion debate. I like that little debate you had, even though you was misleading. You know good and well that something can't be considered dead if it never was alive, but that dude wasn't smart enough to call you out on that. I love these debates. We wouldn't be having this deeper talk about what we think and what we feel without Trump. He's a wrench in the system. They voted for him. He's president. So what are people thinking about? Why is he president? It ain't because of policy. I ain't vote for him because of policy. I vote for him because he made me feel good about what I think and what I feel. Sometimes it's just feeling. Sometimes it's not the facts, Dean. Sometimes we feel like, yeah, I don't like having to call somebody that look like a dude to me a woman.
Okay, so
I don't like
so
that.
it's just vibes. It's just vibes.
Yeah.
So
He won.
by the way,
what
if you
policy did he win on?
so
He
if
won
so
off of vibes. He jumped out of garbage
so
truck
am I
like
able to
Barbie.
explain my
He
position?
was President Barbie. He was dressing that. He was a McDonald worker. He was a truck.
What a fucking weirdo, dude! Like, why is he screaming into the mic about random
I'm
fucking
a
bigoted
weirdo.
shit?
I'm a weirdo because I'm explaining myself.
Yeah, no, because
Y'all
you're
weird.
bigoted.
Y'all get
Because
on
you
here
because
and
because you're
argue the
bigoted and you're
same
not willing to
arguments
address
every
it.
day.
Are you want
No,
to let me respond to it?
Are you gonna let me cook a little bit so I get my personality?
Yeah, NASA. How about this? You just let Parker speak, and once he's done speaking, you speak.
I apologize, Parker.
Okay. I have a question. Do you have an issue with like pronouns?
Not
do you have
pronouns
pronouns?
because he and she is pronoun.
What are your pronouns?
My pronoun is he. I'm a he. His.
Okay. Okay. So you.
If I'm in a group, I'm a them they. If I'm part of some people, I have a problem with.
Wait. You know that they can be
Wait, let me
singular
answer
as
your
well.
question. Well, let me ask you what I have a problem. Let me answer
think
what I
they're
have
lost.
a problem with. I have a problem with you trying to make me call you what I view you as, right? If a dude identifies as a woman, right? I don't care if you do that in your own social groups.
Wait.
or who you're around.
We have to talk about what we can talk about. If I think that like when I see Dean's face, I'm like, dude, he looks like a Seth to me, right? Would it be respectful for me to call him a Seth? He looks like a Seth to me.
You could call him what.
I can call him whatever I want.
Hey,
Is that not disrespectful?
I also want to just reiterate here, guys. We can't have a conversation about T individuals on TikTok. It'll get you banned and me banned. It'll be a bad day for everybody. But I really do hope that 0.01% of the American population that has never done anything to hurt, harm, or affect you in a negative way caused you to vote for the wannabe authoritarian dictator that wants to coup the Constitution, terminate it too, and ignore the Supreme Court while passing tax policy that redistributes wealth from the poor to the rich. So, is there any other reasons why you support him?
Can I answer Parker's question? Or y'all fear people with a mind?
I mean, like, preferably no. The reason why, once again,
Y'all
the only
let
reason...
slow people talk for hours up here. They get bored
The
down
question
there.
was about names, so
Because y'all
I
let people who
tried to
not
make
smart
it so we
talk a
can
lot,
talk
a
about it.
long time.
Hey, bro, NASA,
I was trying to tell you what
okay, first and foremost, don't call people slow, dude. Like, how about let's just have a conversation here.
Yeah, well, I'm getting
All
muted.
right?
Those guys were saying the silliest stuff. Y'all just let them talk. And because I'm kind of loud, you know, and I'm kind of got a little personality, y'all mute me.
Listen, I
feel bad.
once again,
Y'all- this is why I voted for Trump.
the reason why I'm asking you to have a conversation with us about another subject has like nothing to do with you, but only to do with the fact.
I get what you're saying.
NASA, it's
No, I get-
because you're
I get
talking
you. I
about
agree
T
with you.
individuals.
Yeah, I agree with
TikTok
you.
bans us for that.
Okay, I apologize for that. I didn't want to get into that, but I was just saying that was one of the reasons. Parker seems like it hit close to home.
So, ma'am, if at this point in the conversation you would now tell us another reason why you have to support Trump, that'd be great.
I take that. So that means we on the same. We can call anybody what we want, right? But like I told you, because the social feeling is it's about how you feel. I feel like America needs this.
Okay, why?
They need it. We get too comfortable. We don't talk about anything. Every time we try to talk about something, we mute each other. We don't have. Trump is causing the conversation. We're having these discussions. You made more money because Trump exists just from doing this. Look at this.
So
Look
actually,
at this platform. These platforms were
so
not.
I don't
popular
mind
about politics
I don't mind
before
responding.
Trump.
I don't mind responding to that, and I will right now.
Okay.
I think what you're saying about my platform is true. Okay, like yes, I did have a platform.
You got a great platform.
NASA. I did have a platform before politics, before I got into politics. But I will
Okay.
say that the size of my platform has exploded because I've spoken against Donald Trump and his administration. But I don't think just because there's like a second, a third, or a fourth, or a fifth order consequence of something that is good, that makes the original action good as well. Like for instance, here's an analogy
Well,
that I
say-
often use.
Okay.
One moment. Here's an analogy that I often use is that let's imagine a woman got raped and then she went on to be one of the most prolific pro-women, anti-grape advocates that has ever existed in the history of ever, and had a significant impact on reducing grape culture in America. Well, we would say that the consequence there of reducing the impact of grape culture in America is good, but that doesn't mean that she should have gotten graped. So even though the consequence of my platform is good, having more critical discussions or even like self-interested ideas that you pointed out, such as making more income, etc., like this doesn't mean that the original action of Donald Trump doing all these bad things that we discuss on this live is good.
Well, you're still alive, man. I don't think you can compare.
And we got banned, bro. Of course, we got banned, man. Unreal, quite frankly. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so evil and so bad. All the bans. All the bans. All of them. All the bans coming for me. That's right. All the bans. They're coming. They're coming. All the bans are coming. All the bans are coming. Oh my God. Rough, 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 rough. Dude. Terribly rough. Terribly rough. Do I have any other accounts? I don't really think I do.
Ship. Why is that when it comes? What's your name?
Sorry, you heard my For You page. Wait. Is this somebody talking about the Unfuck America tour? Wait, it went away. It was some live about the Unfuck America tour, and it just like disappeared. I wanted to listen in. I think that they were critiquing it. What if I just go on my search bar and I look it up? Unfuck America. And then go to live, maybe?
I bet.
No. Who is it? Who's that creator? Oh man, I wish I could find that. There was like some creator that was like doing a live, and I saw the background was like the poster for the Unfuck America tour. And like I'm gonna take a guess, like seemingly they were likely critiquing it. I wish that I could find that so we could listen in while we're waiting to see if this appeal goes through. If you search for it, you could see the viewed videos. Oh yeah, I just have to do like watch history, right? But it was alive. It was alive. It wasn't a video.
So you scrolling through TikTok, you see a video that you like, but you didn't get it.
Okay, so I just looked up watch history because I've seen that happen before. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Like you could like just literally look up watch history. No, that's not what you got to look up. All right, let's see what their critiques are in the meantime. I think that we found it. Also, if you happen to find it, don't share it in the chat or anything. I don't want people like rating the live and giving them hell. Somebody commented it though. Let's see if this is right.
For some bullshit that y'all saying on my live.
Oh,
There's gonna be a white feminist witch gonna be like, you're gonna die in 5 days.
This is just an issue I have in society at large.
It didn't get out. You're gonna start coughing in 5 days. Like I don't want to get that energy.
Ellie, girl, they're already gonna get you. It's too late.
No,
They got the witch hazel and everything.
Like I said, Demon Parker. I think that obviously I agree with what Tashika and what everybody's been saying earlier. I do think they still have to grow and they still have to mature in these arguments and be better at arguing these things and everything. And my only thing is that I don't have like Isaac said, principle alone, the movement, the tour, whatever the hell they want to call this, I'm okay with. Go for it, right? I respect it. It's funny, it's cool, whatever. What I don't think that I think people, us blackies and the other marginalized, and let's be real, and the other marginalized people need to I hate to say this, but I need you guys to stop feeling like you have to be a part of these conversations, especially in this type of setup. I don't want you to be. Hold on, a lot of you whites in the comments laughing.
Why?
Bring the mic up.
I'll clock that too.
I bet it's the only black people laughing at that.
White people should never laugh.
Exactly. all the white people to the back. Immediately. Thank you. Thank you very much. Looks very nice.
No, pick up the mic again. No, pick up the mic again.
Sorry. No. Okay. Jokes aside, just to be serious for this moment, I am only saying this because I do think, like, us marginalized groups of people and black people, obviously, I think that us being hurt and upset about not being a part of these conversations or leading this is understandable, right? Once again, based off the principle. What I don't think is good is, once again, us putting ourselves in that position to where, in this particular space, once again, Charlie Kirk, we all know who Charlie Kirk is.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, putting ourselves in this position to where we are 9 times out of 10 going to be harassed. Why would we want to? And this is where, like, obviously I get it, because you want to fight for your own oppression. I get that, right? But once again, I think it's about the space and the time and the place. Space, time, and place. I think that all matters. If we were talking about, like, a debate space where it was just me, like, quote unquote, I'm using myself as an example, me and Charlie Kirk, maybe. But we're talking about a space to where there's going to be more white people, racist white people that think just like Charlie Kirk that's going to be in the same space, right? There was a case just last month where a black man what am I trying to say? A black woman in a university that was pretty much harassed and called the N-word over and over again just because he said, "Why is he here? Why the fuck y'all right up to say don't
Said that we're on EBT cards,
who
y'all.
let Bryson back up? Okay,
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry,
that is
y'all.
my issue. Like, on principle, I get it and I understand. I think that that's great, but realistically, I think that we also have to think about ourselves and about the possible pain that we are causing ourselves, and the possible embarrassment that we might cause for other people that might be watching. Like, I don't want us to put it in that position.
I think another thing about this, like, if a debate does happen, is the sheer lack of black people. And again, and I love them both so much. I love
Don't say that. Don't say that. Shh.
She called for my dad.
You don't like Erica?
Oh, she's not
Okay, anyway, I love Erica. I will stand. Hey, lock in.
No, I don't want you to say. I don't want you to say that because we don't really speak like that.
I love those two. I think.
I love their arguments. I don't love them though.
No, I love them and I don't love their arguments. So,
okay.
And I think that
you love them because they're black.
Is really. I think Santana is really good at knowing the books, and that appeals very heavily to white people because it doesn't actually account for any kind of personal experience, and they don't need to when you can just read something. But like when I watched, and this is what made me worried about them being on that list because it's just mediocre. I think watching them debate with a person that had like 200 people on their live stream and trying to determine if black people can be racist, and they weren't able to do it, that made me uncomfortable. And I'm not gonna lie, that shit had me fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, they got cooked, and I don't like.
It's upsetting seeing the black.
Okay, basically, I can't talk unless I swipe out of the live. We were just watching something in the meantime. Literally a random live popped up on my For You page, and I saw the background was like a picture of the Unfuck America tour, and I saw that it was like critiquing it, so I wanted to listen in there for a moment. Let me turn my mic back up. And basically, like, two points that I just heard right there. The first one was like a lack of representation, and I think I've seen that point reiterated by a couple people. In fact, I even talked to one individual, and which was making that point to me and Johnny and Dan. And I think here's the conclusion that we came to on that live. I think that representation and diversity, especially in advocacy and debate, is a very, very good thing. Representation and diversity is very important because it's able to highlight not only knowledge and education on subjects, but it goes a further step of saying, well, here, because we have such a diverse group of individuals, some people are going to have more than knowledge and education, but also like personal experience, which can be very valuable in political advocacy and debates. But then on top of that, I've also seen like a lot of people saying like it's overall a bad movement because it's being spearheaded by me and Parker, and we're both white. And my thoughts on that are like, I think it's a really good thing for white people to be advocating for a better world, and specifically advocating for more equality and fairness in America. And the reason why I say that is because marginalized communities did all the legwork. Okay? Think about it. Think about the 20th century, 1920s, 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Okay? The only people that were really advocating for equality, for fairness, were individuals inside of marginalized communities. White people didn't give a shit, okay? At all. So I think now that when I am a white individual, or when I see other white people giving a shit and advocating for, less, advocating against racism, advocating against misogyny, etc., it's a good thing, right? But I also do think that diversity and representation are important for the reasons that I just listed. So I think it's a great thing when white people speak up. And I also think it's a great thing to have diversity, because not only is that good for representation, but it also just makes political advocacy all the more valuable and all the more effective, because it goes from people advocating for something they've only learned about through knowledge to advocating for something predicated on their own personal experiences. So I think that both are really important. Anyways, my appeal got rejected on It Might Be Dean. Holy fuck, dude. Oh my God. Unreal. Let's see how long the ban is for. Gonna send that off to my people. Dude, I have a group of people that I just send all my bans to, and then they just spam TikTok to try to get it back. TikTok has no real funnels for creators to get a hold of reps. It's only public emails. So I just have 3 people that I just send the bans to, and then they just email TikTok until somebody responds to this something. It's great. It's great. Great people, by the way. They're all behind the scenes. Shout out them. All right. Here. Dude, oh my God. Wow. So I saw that Parker went live. Now it looks like even Parker's live is down. I wonder if he got banned or if he just ended it. All right, guys. So there's a couple things that we could do. It looks like Parker's live on another account.
No obligation to maintain.
He's just debating on YouTube. All right. I have an idea. So I have that other account.
And that's different. But,
1 second. Let me get that noise off. Sorry, you guys. I have another account. Well, actually, I have 3 other accounts that all technically have live access. I have 3 other accounts that all technically have live access. I just have the account warning on them. And the warning is well, if I get another ban while I'm streaming on them, then it gets taken down and then the whole account gets permanently banned. So my thoughts are, we're already a couple hours deep into the debates for the day. In fact, we only have another hour and a half to do debates for the day. That I may just go live on them, but end with the first warning I get. Because the way that these TikTok bans work is I will maybe get around 1 to 2 warnings before the stream is taken down, right? And I mean, that's happened every time. At the minimum, I will always at least get 1 warning before a guest violating the TOS gets the live taken down. So what I'm thinking here is if I'm going live on one of these accounts, like at DNC Dean, for instance, and I just in the stream, the moment I get the force warning or the moment I think somebody has done something that I think will get the live taken down, I'm not risking the account. And I won't ever risk the main account, but I'm saying here like DNC Dean is just a random backup. I wouldn't really care if I lost it, in all honesty. That will work. I think that would work. I think that although that is a risk, I think I'm down to take that risk because overall the risk is like really low. I just have to be like pretty nice to people, know when to kick gas, and as soon as I get the first warning, just pack it up, you know? And as long as I end my live with the first warning I receive, I'll be good. Yeah? All right, we'll do that. Let's do it. Dude, TikTok sucks so much. And I got verified on the main account, which should like protect the lives. If I were to do them on there, I'd be just incredibly less likely to get a ban. But because I have the account warning over there, I can't even verify that hypothesis, unfortunately, which sucks. All right, guys, we're going to prep to go live on DNC Dean. Hey, then also the other really cool part about going live on DNC Dean, yeah, it's that I could go live off of the computer. So yippee, you guys. We're going to have a fun stream today. Just loading everything up here on my laptop because I have to close out of Google Chrome, which means I need to open the stream on the laptop. There's a lot of hoops that I got to jump through here. Let's go to get them taken care of. All right, load it up on the laptop. Here we go. Get that stream going. We're going to be live on @DNC Dean, but I don't know how well the algorithm push will be. I did just get a permanent ban on DNC Dean the other day for impersonation, but we got it back now. All right, we are good to go. Close out of Google Chrome on the laptop, open up TikTok Studio, and then let's get into it. With the first warning I received for a guest violation, we're just going to end. By the way, I'm not going to publicly broadcast that on TikTok, and I'm going to ask you guys not to either, because that'll just incentivize Trump supporters to troll. You know, that'll just incentivize Trump supporters to get up on the live and try to get me that warning to force me to end. So we're going to keep that a little bit of a more obscure fact between us. All right, here we go. Everyone, just give us a minute. We may experience a little lag, by the way, right now. It'll self-correct. What's the TikTok? DNC Dean. Just need to open up TikTok Live Studio. Bada boom. Here we are. All right. It's installing an update real quick. I'll talk to y'all. How do you spell it? DNC Dean. Do you think we could stream the tour? Yeah, it's definitely going to be streamed somewhere. If it's not on our accounts, it will be on Adam Mockler's, for instance. I think he's going to be there. Dean, don't debate. He supports Israel. No, I don't. What? I always think it's funny when people will say that I support Israel, because not only is it not true, because I don't, but I've also never given any indication of that whatsoever. Somebody in the comment section just said, how do you spell DNC? DNC. That's how you spell it. Oh no. Will the tour be clipped and shown on TikTok? Yeah, we will all be recording content. Every single one of us will be recording content. So stay hyped, bro. I'm really excited, personally speaking. So yeah, even if you can't make it there in person, you the clips will hit. All right. And hopefully we're able to go to more cities, so you will be able to make one of the events in person. The inevitable goal is just to show up to as many universities and as many places as possible if this first stop is a success. All right, looks like we are good. I'm gonna turn my virtual camera. All right, everyone. Yeah, we're good to go, guys. We'll be live on DNC Dean. Please come to ASU. ASU would be like a stop I'd want to make. I have a lot of friends that go there, and they've told me about it. It's pretty bad out there. Then same thing with CSU. If like we did end up going to more schools, we definitely go to CSU. Just because I myself went out to Boulder. I'd love to make it out in the area to see all my old friends, and then CSU is like 30 minutes away. And then also we make it out to Utah for sure. So my sister actually went to college in Utah. I'm actually still living out there right now. You know, I'll probably go to the UU out there. That'd be fun. All right, we're going live on TikTok at DNC Dean. Here we go, everyone. And we are live. Wow, look at that. Quite frankly. Quite frankly. By the way, hey guys, if you're supporting or if you're watching and you'd like to support me, feel free to donate to me on Venmo and PayPal. You can find them all in the pinned comment over on YouTube. 100% of all those proceeds goes to me, and it allows me to continue to do these streams every day. Hello. Hey, for everybody tuning in on TikTok, welcome in, everyone. It is so good to see you all. We are back. First and foremost, would just like to apologize for like the insane amount of bans today. And then B, I'm actually going to go ahead and plug my mic directly into my computer. Go ahead and give me 1 second. I'm going to go quiet. And now we're back on YouTube too. All right, if you're one of the first 400 people tuning into the live, I would really appreciate it if you could start double tapping away on that phone screen for me, sharing out that live with a handful of friends. Hopefully, we're able to get this live to send out across that For You page, you guys. This account is kind of coming off of a permanent ban, so it may be a little bit hard to get that original push-up in here, but we're going to try to get it done. We're going to go to get my main account up here just as a guest so we can maybe help push out more to people watching. The Noti Gang on the main account. This is the third account of the day. Realistically, I should probably just let it go and give up for the day, but here we are nonetheless. And we're going to go ahead and start letting guests up. You guys, if you are in that queue, make sure that it does mean that you do support Donald J. Trump. We are just looking for some debates. So we're going to go to get that first guest, Mr. Tony, up in the live as we speak. Here we go. Tony is loading in. What is going on, Tony? Do you support Trump?
No freaking way.
I think he said no. We're going to go to move on to the next guest. Everyone just go ahead and just give us a minute. We got Mighty loading up right now, everyone. Go ahead and just give us a second. What's going on, Mighty? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I've been a Trumpster for a while, brother. My wife and everybody else is swearing at me. I don't know why.
All right. Well, Mighty, tell us why you support Trump, man.
I don't know. I think he's got some great ideas. Oh, there's my wife. See, he's got to chime in, dude.
Does your wife support Trump?
Yes, I do, except he didn't put it that way.
I was about to say W wife, but now it's L wife and husband. Anyways, I guess you said that he had some good ideas. So, like, what are one of these great ideas that he has? What's your favorite Trump policy, sir?
My favorite is probably the border. I think that was a crazy thing to do.
All right, first and foremost, just for TikTok US, we can't talk about like deporting undocumented migrants. I don't know why TikTok thinks that is hate speech.
That's okay.
But yeah, so specifically about the border policy here, I want to ask you a question. Can you name a single long-term border policy that Donald Trump has ever implemented that will reduce undocumented entry into America in the long term?
Wow, you said that so fast, my friend. I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Yeah, can you name one Trump policy that he's implemented or wants to implement that will reduce undocumented entry into America in the long term?
I can't quote any kind of documentation like that. I'm sorry. I'm not that wonderfully into this.
Oh, no
I just
worries.
thought I would say good evening, and I wanted to find out what you were talking about.
Okay. Well, do you think that the Biden-Harris administration opened the borders?
As far as I know, I mean, you know, as people out here in America, all you can do is listen to the news people. You know, we don't have some of the guys out there. I'm sure you are connected to people in Washington. No.
Yeah, I have connections in DC.
So, I mean, you get your news firsthand. I can't do that. All I can do is listen to CNN or Fox News or something like that, which those guys shade so much stuff, dude. It's hard to understand or hard to really get a grasp on what is going on here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. Well, I get that. I think it's a good idea to probably just do a little bit deeper research, try to find bipartisan news sources, and get your references from multiple places. Definitely not Fox News. They're actually not legally labeled as a news organization because they lie too much for that. I think they're legally classified as an entertainment organization. But yeah, is there any arguments that you'd like to run in so far as why you think that he's doing a good job, or should I just move on to the next guest?
Well, my friend, I just want to say thank you for being out here, and you can move on because sounds like you really want to get deep, and I was just jumping in to say hello and see what you're into. But I do support Trump, and I think so far he's done some good and bad. So I want to ask you one more thing before I go. Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
So what's your position on what is going on with Russia and Ukraine? He wants to seem like if they're not going to talk, he's going to disconnect. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that his stance of revoking all support for Ukraine is bad. Not only because I think that we should uphold the Budapest Memorandum, which is an agreement we made with Ukraine in the 90s that we would support them, but also for national security concerns. I think one thing that many people don't think about at all is the fact that when we stop supporting Ukraine, it's not like the conflict goes away. The rest of NATO will just simply ramp up how they're supporting the country, right? The moment Donald Trump said no more fund or aid or support to Ukraine, we had the UK and France be like, well, now we might put our boots on the ground to fight alongside the Ukrainian troops to kind of pick up the slack that America dropped when they stopped the inflow of money and funding, right?
Doesn't that sound like a world war to you?
It does. That's the thing, though. It does sound like it could be a World War III situation.
Exactly. Like it's World War III, but it's not nuclear. It's actually a war.
And we want to prevent NATO boots on the ground fighting Russian troops, right?
Right.
And like seemingly when we were funding and supporting Ukraine, that didn't lead to any NATO boots on the ground. It's only when we revoked our funding and
we
support
revoked
for
it,
Ukraine.
exactly.
So
Yep.
seemingly like Donald Trump's position on Ukraine and Russia here leads to a higher potentiality of a third world war than merely just sending them $32 billion per year.
But I think other countries really don't want to get into that either, dude. I don't think they want to get into a world war. I think that is the least. That's the least they want to do. Though, you know what? The reason why they have wars sometimes is for money reasons. It actually generates a lot of money and industry going, and everybody gets up in arms. That's just, back in the day they did that. Now it might be a little different, but still, I agree with you, brother. I think it's going to be crazy. I'm not sure how or what will happen. Are we going to stop funding Ukraine?
Okay,
Are we
well,
cutting
first
off
and
the
foremost,
money,
you
my
said
friend?
that yes, right, and that is what has led to other countries like the UK or France saying that they are considering putting boots on the ground.
That's really gonna drive the America nuts. Because we supported Ukraine for so long, and all of a sudden he changes it that drastically. I think Americans are gonna go freaking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad for Ukraine. It's bad for national security concerns. It's bad because it introduced more global conflict and a higher potency of World War III. And yeah, it's like bad for the Americans that disagree with that. But all right, man, I appreciate you for coming up, and I hope you have a good rest of your night, man.
Hey, you too. Happy Easter to everybody out there, anybody listening, and you take care. This is Mighty Milt out here in New Jersey. I'll catch you again.
I mean, I know that he's a Trump supporter, but what a chill dude. I hope that guy ends up watching my lives a little bit more, and I'm able to change his mind, maybe. I hope I'm able to change his mind. All right. Dude had his own outro. That's pretty fire, bro. I want my own outro. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, y'all. Let's get that next guest up on the live right now, guys. If you are in that queue, make sure that you do support President Donald Jimothy Trump. And let's see who's next. Also, if you're watching and you like to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio. Actually, somebody should click on my account and tell me if it's even still there. I think it's possible that it's not. All right, let's go and get that next guest up in the box. Here we are. It's actually not still there. I'm going to go and put it in the bio right now. While our next guest is loading up, what's going on, man? How old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18. I think that you're from Britain. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. I'm also going to go ahead and put the link to my link tree back in my bio real quick. So everyone just do give me one moment so you guys can find that. All right, here we are, everyone. Let's also go and get that next guest loading up, but we're just going to go and do this real quick. And the link is back in My bio. There you are. All right. Now, let's go to move on to the next guest, you guys. Everyone, go ahead and just give us a minute to get the next guest up here. If you do support Trump and you would like to come up and have a debate, guys, make sure that you are spamming MAGA down below in that comment section literally right now, everyone. And, all right, who's next? Let's go ahead and get Ricky Too Real up in the box. If you're one of the 3,000 people listening in, good to see you all. What's going on, Ricky? Do you support Trump?
Dean, I love you.
Wow. W Fetus? Quite frankly, you sounded really young, though. Honestly, you should just not really even think about politics. I think that you should just scroll. You should scroll. Young Fetus, just scroll. Don't start worrying about politics. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. All right, moving on to the next guest, guys. Go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that comment section if you want to come up and debate. We're going to go to get Jay Tony up in the box. Where'd he go? The guest requests are moving too fast. I can't click on anybody. All right, here we go. Jay Tony's letting up. Hey, also, Sam, thank you for the $2 super chat over on YouTube. What's going on, Jay Tony? Do you support Trump? Okay. All right. Yeah, that was definitely a Trump supporter. Undeniably a Trump supporter, you know? I guess that was his way of answering the question. Maybe I shouldn't have kicked him because it did make his voting preference very clear. Very clear. It made his voting preference very clear. All right, moving on to the next guest. We're going to go ahead and get him up here. Here we go, everyone. We got Maddie loading in. What's up, Maddie? Do you support Trump?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you support the president?
No, I actually.
Sorry, Maddie. I'm sorry. Just looking for some debates. Bye. Moving on to Penelope. It's now loading up in the box. All right, here we go, everyone. What's going on, Penelope? Do you support Trump? And Penelope left in record speed, quite frankly. All right, and who's next? We're going to try to get Jack up in the box. And oh my God, yo, Trent! Thank you so much for the $10 donation over on Venmo. Everybody, please show some love to Trent down below in that comment section. Thank you so much, man. W Trent, down below right now for the $10. Trent says, I love you, Dean. I love you too, Trent. Quite frankly. As well as Julia with the $25 donation over on PayPal saying, respect existence or expect resistance. Damn, bro, that's a bar, Julia. Holy shit. Thank you for the love, not only for the $25 on PayPal, but also for the bar. Dude, everybody, show some love to Julia down below. At least 300 W Julias. That's a crazy bar. But what's going on, Jack? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you, man?
What's up?
How old are you?
19.
19. So why do you support Trump?
I mean, better than Biden, better than Harris.
Oh, why was he better than Harris? Mr. Jack?
I mean, think about it. Like,
I'm thinking hard.
Like, hold on. I don't know how to word this correctly. It's gonna take me a minute. Yeah, let me cook. For sure. Definitely. So, really, Harris wants to like solve all these problems. So really, it's kind of just like all these problems that like she caused while she was in office. Think about it. Yeah.
Really? Like, which problems did she cause while she was in office that she ran on solving?
Inflation, the border.
Okay, let's start with inflation. How did she cause inflation? Okay, he just left? I can't. Okay. Well, I mean, that was like a very like expected question for me to ask, just given the natural progression of conversation and debate, right? Like if he just like explicitly claims that Kamala Harris caused inflation, the obvious next question will be, well, how? Right? I guess he didn't expect it, so he hit the road. He dipped. Let's go to get that next guest up in the box, guys. If you're in that queue, make sure that you support Trump. We are really just looking for some debates here today. The guest request is going at like record speed right now. We're going to go ahead and get butt fart loaded up in here. So everyone just give us a minute to get butt fart loaded up in here. But the guest request is just dancing around, so it's really hard to locate any specific guests. Butt fart, I'm really trying to load you up in here so we can have a debate about why you support Trump, because I'd love to talk to you, butt fart. It's just proven to be very difficult. All right, we're going to get that next guest up here in the meantime, y'all. I got butt fart. Here we go. What's up, butt fart?
Hi, hello.
Hi, butt fart. Do you support Trump?
Okay, I know someone who does, and I want to answer this question for them, and I would love if you could help me.
Lay it on me real quick.
Their reason for supporting Trump is that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just lay the question on me real quick, butt fart.
Okay. So they think that Trump is worth supporting because they don't like that the government was giving money to the illegals, and that was their sole reason for voting for Trump. And I don't know how to negate that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you how to.
Properly.
So the federal government doesn't give any money to undocumented migrants in America, apart from like funding that pays for access to emergency rooms and hospitals. Okay? And then there's some state benefits that they could receive, like Medi-Cal, which is a form of healthcare for low-income undocumented migrants in the state of California, or a similar program in the state of Illinois, or some food stamp programs in Colorado. Okay? No federal benefits, some state benefits, but the big thing is that undocumented migrants pay so much in taxes. They pay $100 billion per year. More money is paid in taxes than any money that could ever possibly be expensed on them. So what this means is that not only is your friend's claim wrong, but it also completely negates any argument for deportation, because you're saying that they should be removed from the country because they take more than they provide. Well, if they provide more than they take, it's almost as if their logic would point you towards the conclusion that they should stay in the country. Okay. Bedford has nothing to say.
Oh, hi. Am I back yet?
Yeah.
My audio cut out for a second. Thank you so much for answering. That's a wonderful answer. I knew that there were some supports given, but I knew it wasn't federal. I just didn't know exactly which. And that is a great is a great point. I love what you're doing. And the taxes thing, that's the main. Thank you for.
Yeah, of course. I
reminding
appreciate
me
you
about
for
taxes.
I appreciate you for coming up. And then I actually brought Kenny up here because he said in the chat that I was lying. So you're gonna kind of see how like a full-on debate plays out on that specific subject. But actually, he left.
Kenny just left.
Well, hey, Buttfart, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming up, and that was a good question. Everybody, show some love to Buttfart down below in that comment section. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest here, you guys. If you're spamming MAGA down below in that chat, make sure that it means you support Trump. Kenny actually left once I pointed out what I wanted to talk to him about. Unfortunate. He's a runner. Hey, Ava, you were spamming MAGA down below in that comment section. Do you support Trump? Okay, another person that was like spamming the chat, saying they're Trumpy, then just hitting the high road. All right. Sorry. It looks like the Trump supporters are a little bit scared today, everyone. Very scared they are. Very scared they are. All right. Penelope's down there in the comment section spamming MAGA. Let's see if we could get Penelope up here. We are really just looking for a debate, everyone. If y'all would please just give me a minute here to get our next guest up in here. Then also, if you would like to support me and support the stream, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in the bio. Where is Penelope at? All right, looks like Penelope's not in the queue, so we're going to go to move on to the next guest, Thrag, down here. Go ahead and spam MAGA down below in that comment section if you do want to come up. All right, what is going on, Thrag? Do you support Trump? Just straight up not here. Goodbye. All right. It's proving very difficult to get debates today. I mean, I guess that's typical. I don't know why. Trump supporters are scared of me, y'all. Oh my God. Hey, Courtney, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal, Courtney. Everybody, let's get 200 Courtney W's down below in the chat for the $20 on PayPal. Courtney. Thank you so much. And you are British. Goodbye, British man. Moving on to the next guest, but W. Courtney. We got Luke loading up into the live. Quite frankly, we got Luke loading up into the live. That's right, Luke. Go ahead and accept that invitation. You're down below spamming MAGA. That means that you got to accept that invitation, quite frankly. We're going to get that next guest, Jody, up in the live. What's going on, Jody? Do you support Trump?
I do.
So they were playing an audio off their computer. I heard sticky, and I just kicked them. I'm not gonna lie. I heard the word sticky and I kicked them. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go and get Noah up in the box. Here we go, y'all. Just looking for that next debate of the day. Here we are, everyone. What's going on, Noah? Do you support Trump?
Nope, I don't.
Great. Just looking for debates. Moving on, everyone. Give us a minute. We got Cold loading up into the box. Here we are, everyone. Running low on debates today. The Trump supporters are running scared. Oh my God. I mean, I hope that changes, right? Let's look at the queue. I don't know, man. Maybe Gavin? Maybe Gavin will debate me? I don't know. Maybe Derek, maybe? What about any of these people in the queue? This person has a bubble emoji in their name. No way they're a Trump supporter. They're liberal as hell. Only liberals put bubble emojis in their names. I wish that you guys know. Okay, like, you know, there's actually a little bit of a guest selection process that I go through in my head just to try to identify who the trolls are and the trolls aren't. There's a big preface on what emojis are in somebody's name and what I think their perceived political views are. Fun fact. All right, we're going to try to get that next guest up here. Everyone, do just go ahead and give us a moment. If you're on that queue, make sure that you do support Trump, y'all. We are just looking for some debates, everyone. We're going to go to get that next guest up here literally right now, y'all. The guest request is moving really quick. I'm like looking for specific people that I want to bring up, and it's just proving very hard. But we got Mary loading in. What's going on, Mary?
Hi.
Hi, do you support Trump?
I do.
Oh, Mary, why?
I just like his economic policies.
Really? What about it do you like?
The tariffs.
And why is that, Mary?
Because it taxes the countries that have been ripping us off for centuries.
Okay, all right. Can you tell me how other countries rip us off? And then it's also important to
They
keep in
take our
mind
money.
that the importer in America ends up paying those tariffs.
No.
Yeah.
They pay the tariffs.
No. So like multinational corporations. Okay, she left. Goodbye. So like really big conglomerate corporations like generally do make a lot of profit, but their profit margins aren't super high, right? So when we have these tariffs that are going into effect that are like 35, 50%, what ends up happening is they have to increase the price of their product for their company to survive. What's going on, F? Do you support Trump?
I do not regret voting for him.
Okay. So why do you think he was a better pick than Harris?
He was better for me
Why?
because I made $40,000 off crypto because he won.
Well, I mean, crypto markets have gone into the shitter since the election.
Well, I invested the moment I saw him get shot in the ear because I knew that he was going to win, and it went way up, and I sold.
So, like, we see a lot of volatility in crypto markets based upon speculation. But, I mean, over the long term, I mean, crypto markets have been in the shitter since he got shot.
No, when
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, can you confirm that?
Yeah, just go look at the price of Ethereum. I think it's been literally cut in half since November.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah, they all generally track each other. Bitcoin would be included in that.
And before he won the election, it was a lot lower than after he won the election.
Yeah. Oh, no, before he won the election, it was higher than after he won the election.
Okay, but months before he won the election.
Yeah, it was higher than it is now. Yeah.
I don't have the exact dates, and I could go check, but
Yeah,
I can
please do it, because what I'm saying is true. I know because I invest a little bit of money in crypto, and I've lost a shit ton. I've lost like 50%. I've lost 50% of my initial investment since the election. He left. All right, moving on to the next guest. Yeah, isn't that crazy, you guys? Like, I don't invest. When I said shit ton, that was a little bit over the top. I do just invest some money in crypto because I think it's cool. I've always thought that crypto is kind of cool. It's just a little like fun little special interests. And I think I've lost 50% of my original investment since the election. Fun fact. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Hello.
That is a kid. Moving on to the next guest, everyone. Go ahead and just give us a minute. Go ahead and drop a MAGA down below in that chat if you do support Trump, y'all. We are just looking for the next guest. We got Jaden loading up into the box. Also, if you'd like to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio, y'all. 100% of the proceeds on those platforms go right to me. We got the next guest loading up into the box right now, everyone. So do just go ahead and give us one moment to get him up here. And if you're MAGA and you'd like to come up here and have a debate, honestly, we're just looking for like rather good faith, sufferable people to have conversations with. Just let me know down below in that comment section. Let's go ahead and take a look at that queue, see who's next. Let's try to get Alina up in the live, guys. Keep in mind that we are just looking to debate Trump supporters. Hey, what's going on? Do you support Trump? Oh my God, MAGA Mobile. Holy cow. MAGA Mobile as fuck. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. We got the next guest loading up into the box. Here we are. What a terrible connection. Terrible connection, quite frankly. What's going on, Prod? You support Trump? You could speak. You are connected. Speak with your voice. Vocalize words. Okay, I guess not. Okay, we have 6,000 people in this live stream. Hello, everyone. Everyone here. 6,000 people in this live stream. Why is there not like one person who wants to have a conversation with me? Like not one, bro? Like not one human that supports the president that wants to come up here and have a debate? MAGA's on the fall, bro. What's going on, Sarah? You support the president? You said pick me in the comment section.
No, I do not. I'm not a Trump supporter, but
Sorry, Sarah. Goodbye. Quite frankly, moving on. Next guest is loading up. Just, Yeah, there's 100 people in the queue. And, like, for whatever reason, none of them are Trump supporters. Moving on. Here we are. We got Jacob Rutledge loading in. Oh, my God. What a Republican last name, Rutledge. Where have I heard that before? I feel like I've heard that before somewhere. What's up, Mr. Rutledge? Rutledge, do you speak? No, Rutledge does not speak. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we are, everyone. Let's go get that next guest up in the box, y'all. It's proven very difficult to find anybody to converse with. Oh, you're right. That is from Outer Banks. Yeah. You're right. Thank you for picking that up. I know that I've heard it somewhere. All right. We're going to move on to the next guest, y'all. Nobody wants to have a conversation. I feel very sad that nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to be my friend, man. Nobody wants to be my friend, you guys. They don't even want to have a conversation. I'm literally just feeling empty space because nobody's joining. I'm sorry. Oh, dear God, man. What a train wreck, dude. What a train wreck of a day. That guy's not joining. This guy's not joining. How about we just start spamming and letting everyone up? What's going on, man? You support Trump?
Yeah, kind of. Like, I'm a bit of a Trump supporter, but I kind of really wanted to join to know why that's wrong. Like,
I'd recommend watching the live if you're just curious on why I don't think you should be a Trump supporter. I'd recommend just watching the live so I could debate other people that think they should, and we could have a back and forth dialogue. The best place to learn why I hold the views I do is just watching the live. Kiara, thank you for the $1 over on Venmo, and Joelle with the $5 on PayPal as well. Moving on to the next guest right now, everyone. Go ahead and just give us 1 minute to get our next guest, Derek, up in the live. Here we are, guys. Let's try to get Derek loaded in, everyone. What's up, Derek? You support Trump?
I do.
Okay, why does that mean?
I'll be upfront about this. I'm not like super well versed or informed about like a lot of political issues, but I do have like decent opinions, I think. Like, I probably can't hold like a full length debate with you, but I could have a conversation, I think.
Okay, so why do you support him?
Well, I mean, I grew up in a big farm family, and it's kind of always been, surrounded in my upbringing, and I feel like that's pretty common sometimes. I'm 18 years old.
You're just saying that you support Trump because your family does too?
Well, that's initially how, I started, and then...
Okay, what about now? Like, is there anything that you like about what his administration has done?
Well,
like, what he wants to do for America?
Yeah, if you wanted to have a conversation about abortion.
Oh, sure. So do you like abortion? Do you not like abortion? What are your thoughts?
I do not, and I think we can both agree that the vast majority of abortions are just people who willingly participated in sex and got pregnant and just didn't want to deal with the baby.
Right. Like women consent to sex, knowing it runs risk of pregnancy. They get pregnant and then they abort it. All right, that's called an elective abortion. So yeah, why do you think elective abortions are wrong, man?
I guess, I mean, I feel like a lot of this boils down to when you think whatever you want to call it, the baby in the uterus, like, becomes a human being.
So I think it becomes a human being at the moment of conception. So why do you think it's wrong to end the life of this fetus?
Well, again, I just don't, pro-life, murdering.
So why is it murder?
When you terminate like a human life, no matter if it's born or unborn, I feel like that life should still have protection, because even though it can't protect itself when it's
So you're saying if human life can't protect itself, it deserves protection?
Well, I mean, no one deserves to be murdered.
Well, you're saying that it's murder. What is murder? Can you define that word for me?
Yeah, I mean, when you kill someone. Yeah.
So when you kill a human, that is murder. So let me get this straight. Self-defense is murder?
I mean, yes, technically, but obviously, yes, it can be justified if it is self-defense.
Okay, so you're saying that murder can be good?
Obviously, it's never good, but
so then it's never justified. So I think that we need to revise our definition of a murder here. It's not just like killing humans, it's the unjust killing of humans, right? So why specifically do you think it is wrong to kill a fetus?
Well, obviously, the fetus has done nothing wrong. You can't
Because it's innocent?
Well, yes, it is innocent, but...
Wait. One second. So I just got a notification for everyone watching. It says your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because it violates the fake engagement policy. We have detected and enforced this content violation with automated measures. Is TikTok like saying that I'm like not real?
We're not talking about abortion on TikTok.
No, it's like saying that this isn't even like real. I don't know. No. I'm gonna read off a little bit more about it here. Should we okay, I want to see what I got that violation for. What the fuck? All right, we're going to go to get the next guest up in here, guys. Make sure that we are double tapping away on that phone screen. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo on the PayPal right above my head here. Fake engagement policy TikTok. Let's see what it is. TikTok, what does it mean when we say we detected fake engagement? I actually can't find that policy. Okay, well, I screenshotted that. I'm going to figure it out. Anyways, you guys, if you're watching and you support Trump, go ahead and hop in that queue. We'll get you up here for a conversation. Bots? Yeah, is it maybe because everyone's spamming MAGA and it just thinks that's literal bots? Literal robots? I don't know. Who knows? All right, moving on to the next guest. Everyone, go ahead and just give us one moment while we get the next guest up in the live, everyone. By the way, you guys, I'm going to be out in Texas on the 22nd here very, very soon. We're going to be doing some in-person activism at a Charlie Kirk event. Can't wait. It's going to be at Texas A&M April 22nd at 8:30 p.m. And honestly, if this violation doesn't go away, we may just end the live early. What's going on, Natty? Do you support Trump?
Absolutely.
Okay, Natty, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
Because I believe that Trump will ultimately be the downfall of this country, and I hate this country, and I think the United States should be abolished. Because it was founded on slavery and genocide, and it just fucking sucks.
So your bio says 33. Are you lying to me about your age?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so your argument is that we should just do whatever we can do to destroy America?
Pretty much.
Okay, but you understand that includes the destruction of the people in America. Like, the destruction of America is predicated on the on disenfranchising marginalized communities, on denying women human rights, and denying humans due process, right? The destruction of America is predicated on like an authoritarian dictatorship that is eroding the fabric of the American Constitution and our checks and balances, which all have rebounding effects on Americans. Like, do you think all the damage that is caused by him and his policy is like mere inconsequential damage that is required for the destruction of the country as a whole?
Yeah, it's so sad.
Bro, get the hell off my live. That's the most cringy shit I've ever heard. I swear, I pray to God that that's a troll. I pray to God that's a troll, dude. I pray that's a troll, dude. I pray that's a troll. We're gonna go and get that next guest up here. Oh man, bro. Oh man, dude. Rough. We got Matt loading in. Dude, these guys today suck, man. Yo, Meredith, thank you for the $3 over on Venmo. You're awesome. Thank you so much, Meredith. While we get the next guest up in here. Vivian and Joel with the $5 on PayPal. Thank you so much. You guys are phenomenal. All right. Moving on to the next guest. What is up, Matt? Mr. Matt, do you support Donald J. Trump? Mr. Matt, can you unmute that mic for me? I guess Mr. Matt cannot unmute that mic for me. So instead, we're going to go and move on to the next guest because this shit sucks. All right. Damn, bro. These guys suck today, dude. And we got a violation for quote-unquote fake engagement. TikTok is on our ass, man. Unreal. Unreal. What a vibe killer, dude. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Okay, I genuinely need your help. So, I have like a bunch of classmates.
How old are you?
And like, okay, please don't kick me. I'm in 8th grade.
I'm kicking you for your own safety. All right. Not only is it for TikTok TOS, it's very, very bad to point a big neon sign at an 8th grader on the internet. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next guest. We got Austin loading up. Here we go, everyone.
How you doing, Dean?
What's going on, Austin? Do you support Trump?
I do. I also wanted to say that girl Natty was 16, FYI.
According to her, she was 27. According to her page, she was 33. According to you, she's 16. Oh man.
I know she had a link to her second account. She's 16.
I appreciate you for letting me know.
You're
Before we
welcome.
hop into debate, I'm going to go and thank two people. Tyler, thank you so much for the $25 donation over on Venmo. I do really appreciate you so much for the love. Can we all please show some love to Tyler down below in that comment section? Thank you so much, Tyler. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you. As well as Janet, thank you so much for the $100 super chat over on YouTube. Oh my God, guys, please show some love to Chase and Janet down below. Sorry, Tyler and Janet down below in that comment section right now. Janet, Diva Janet, it's good to see ya. Thanks for being here with me. Thank you so much for the $100 super chat. That is nuts. Everybody, W Janets and W Tylers. I do not deserve that much money. That is unreal. Thank you, Janet. At least W Janet's in the chat for the next 5 minutes. But Austin, go ahead and take it away and tell us why you support the current president.
Amazing W supporters. You got some really great supporters. I could just say that for sure. So I do support Trump on certain things. I don't agree with everything that he says and does, as most people do nowadays, that now that we see the tariffs and things coming into place and all the bad things that are about to happen to our economy. But I do want to go back to the conversation about AB, if you're willing to do so.
Yeah. So do you agree with abortion being in the hands of the states?
To be completely honest, no, I don't. I don't think it should be within the hands of the states. I think it should be a federal thing, because I believe AB is not a definition of murder, but it's the definition of unjust of killing a fetus.
Okay, so you think do you think it should be federally banned?
I don't think it should be federally banned. There should be, excuse me, I think that there should be regulations depending on the certain situation. Obviously, incest and for the safety of the mother, that could be justified. But when it comes
what about in
to
circumstances of rape?
In circumstances of rape, yes, that's justified as well.
Okay,
Thank you for having that.
So you agree with the exceptions, but for like elective abortions, do you think they should all be banned?
I think they should. I
Okay.
think that
Why is that?
it's not for me specifically because like there is birth control and things like that, and then when it comes to IUD, I know that's a conversation you have with a lot of people that it actually unattaches. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but it unattaches the fetus, so it's no longer, or unattaches the preborn, so it's not attached, and it doesn't have any way of surviving. I think that's what you said before. But for me specifically, I don't believe that we should have open ABs, just for the fact that if not saying that women don't close their legs, but if they openly want to have sex with somebody, don't use protection, not on birth control. It's not a way to have birth control.
Okay, so
You
you're
good?
saying that these abortions should be banned because people aren't using contraceptives. So just to kind of test your logical consistency here, if they did use contraceptives, would you then say they should be able to access abortion?
Well, there's contraceptives, right? And then if you use protection and you have birth control, there's a 99.9999% chance you won't get
Right.
pregnant.
But
So
if you
if
do
use
get pregnant,
two of them,
should you then be able to access birth control?
if you use two of them, if you use protection and you have birth control, you still have double protection of 99.99999%, which the percentage is going to be very minuscule,
Okay.
right?
All right.
In that spe-
Should you be able to access abortion then?
in that specific, that's one of those exceptions where you didn't plan it and you have all this protection that you're supposed to have.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
you think they should be able to access abortion, right?
If they use double protection, of course.
Here's
There's
the
exceptions.
here's like the huge the fatal error, if you will, with your position. If I was to hold up an ultrasound of a fetus conceived with a condom and birth control, and I was to compare that to an ultrasound of a fetus conceived without any contraception at all,
You wouldn't be
would
able to
you
tell the
be able to
difference.
point out any differences in the two fetuses?
No, and that's an opinion of mine. I
So
don't
do you
think that should be a
mind
law.
if I finish speaking?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for being respectful. I appreciate it.
So there's no differences between the life of a fetus conceived with or without contraceptives. So when you tell me that one abortion is wrong, it's murder, it's unjust, but the other is perfectly fine, you are making that evaluation on a standard that is not to do with the life of the fetus. What this means is that in all reality, you don't give a fuck about the life of the fetus growing inside of a woman's uterus. You're not pro-life, you're pro-control. See, you think that we should be able to punish women that you think are reckless or irresponsible or uphold different values than you do in the context of romance, intimacy, or intercourse. And that is a massive, massive issue, okay? Because it kind of exposes this idea of being for the children, for the babies, as nothing more than a mere virtue signal to kind of conceal more corrupt intentions of wanting to control women. And it doesn't just have negative effects on the women that are suffering because of these thoughts, because of these beliefs, but it also has negative effects on our kids, on our children, because you are shifting the family dynamic away from financially well-off adults that consent to starting a family that desire to have children into forcing 19, 18, 20-year-old boys and girls into being moms and dads because according to you, they didn't wrap up enough. All right.
Well, to be completely honest, I'm sorry. If you want to keep talking, go ahead.
No, I mean that's my position. That's all that really matters. You don't care about the fetus. You care about
I do.
if you
I
think
do.
a woman is. No, you don't.
I do, because hear me out. That's my specific opinion. If I were to be the lawmaker to explicitly make a law for AB, it would have the exceptions of grape, it would have the exceptions of incest, and it would have the exceptions of for the well-being of the mother. Obviously, those are
Wait, it wouldn't have any
very-
exceptions for people that use condoms and birth control?
You wouldn't be able to tell, so no. It's just my opinion.
But
when it comes
but like seemingly, if like we did have a way of telling, let's just say that we had like a truth serum where you injected in somebody, they're always telling the truth, and we were able to tell if a woman was on birth control and the man in which she was engaging in intercourse with did wrap up and she got pregnant, do you think she should legally be allowed to access abortion?
I wouldn't be able to use a hypothetical because it's unjust to give somebody a truth serum.
Okay, it's unjust. They consent to it.
But still, You know, it's one of those things where, okay, yeah, let's say you use the truth serum.
Let's just
It's
say
still
that you, for whatever
hypothetical.
reason, you have certain knowledge that this woman was on birth control, and the man in which she was engaging in intercourse with did wear a condom. You think she should be able to theoretically access abortion?
To be completely honest, that's where I'm conflicted because you're never going to be able to get 100%
It's
of
a
the truth.
hypothetical scenario that we're assuming that you know with certainty.
With a law, I don't know. I could give you my opinion, but I can't tell you exactly what I would, because it's yes, because if I hold on, if I
I just want to know your opinion. If you knew with certainty that a woman was on birth control and the man that she engaged in intercourse with was wearing a condom and she got pregnant, would you be okay with her getting an abortion?
in my opinion, yes. But then
Oh,
you're
okay.
gonna
So
make that
then,
counter, yeah, but
so then
you're-
my
then you're gonna
argument
make
was
that
perfectly
counter-argument.
valid and perfectly fine in accordance with your beliefs, right? You are not pro-life. You are pro-control. You don't care about the fetus. You care about the woman in which the fetus was conceived in her uterus did or didn't do, or how responsible or lack thereof responsibility you perceive in her character. You are
I
completely,
care- what I care about-
entirely, like imposing value or no value on the fetus purely dependent upon your perceptions of the character and actions of the woman, right?
No,
And
it's
that's
not about the
issue.
woman. It's about
It
it's
is.
about the male too. Because it's about the male too. Because if let's say I go out, and I
You
go on a
could
first date, or
okay
let's say,
you could
hold on,
say
let's-
it's
hold on,
about you
let
could
me-
say one moment you could say it's also
okay.
about the man, all right? At the end of the day, only the woman ends up suffering the consequences, or suffers like 99% of them, and then you're still saying that it has nothing to do with the value of the fetus and all to do with the actions of whoever conceived the fetus, and that's a big issue. All right, you're basically saying you don't care about the fetus, you just want to punish people you think are irresponsible, even though that leads to negative outcomes not only for them but also to the children, because you're forcing unwanted children into unready, self-proclaimed irresponsible households.
Of course, and that's where we both agree that the woman does bear most of the responsibility, and where the men should bear responsibility as well because they partook in the action. It shouldn't just be the women partaking in it. That's
I just
another
wanna
thing
clarify,
that
you don't see any issue with the view of saying that you don't care about fetuses, you just want to punish people you think are irresponsible. You don't
I do
see
care.
any issue
I
with
do
that
care
view?
about fetuses. I do
No,
care
you
about
don't.
fetuses.
No, you
That's why-
don't. No, you
yes, I
don't.
do. That's why
Because
I
there's
think
no
AB should-
difference.
there
There's
should be a
no
law
difference
against
between
it.
there's no difference between a fetus conceived with or without contraceptives, but you think that a fetus conceived with contraceptives can die, and that a fetus conceived without contraceptives should live.
It's basically saying the same thing about incest. Okay, if
insects,
two cousins, let's say, okay, let's
Yeah.
just put this. You said a hypothetical. Here's a hypothetical for you. So let's just say two cousins conceive. Correct. Two cousins conceive, and they should be able to get an AB because that's not going to be. I'm not going to use these words that older millennial does. Not saying like, hey, if you're not perfect, get thrown off a cliff, because that was heinous. But when it comes to incest and rape and things like that, obviously that's an exception, right? But when it comes to having protection and still having a child, that's going to end up being something that you were.
Oh, listen, I'm describing your view to you, and
You
I'm not
can't
even
describe
giving.
my view because
yes,
my
I am.
view.
I am
you-
describing your view to you based upon what you've told us, and I listen, man. Accept it with a backbone, because at the end of the day, what I'm saying is 110% correct. You don't value the fetus. You just value the way in which the fetus was conceived, because you think that is indicative of values of responsibility or irresponsibility in the woman, and then you use those values of her character to either punish or reward her. That's all. You're saying that women who are reckless enough to engage in intercourse without double contraceptives should be punished. Meanwhile, women who are responsible enough to engage in intercourse with double contraceptives should be rewarded. That's all that you're saying here, man. It has nothing to do with the fetus. Stop making this about the life of the unborn. The last thing that you're considering here is any intrinsic value in its human DNA. The first thing that you're considering here is if contraceptives was used or not used, because you think if they are used, fucking die, rip off its limbs and destroy it and mutilate it. No value, no right to life. Die. But you know, if it did, if there was no condom, if there was no birth control, you know what? That baby deserves the right to life.
Absolutely.
So do you understand how
100%.
your view doesn't
I
value the
understand-
fetus? The consideration you're
understand.
making
That's
is
what I'm
about
saying.
what
My view
the man
doesn't-
and the
my view
woman
doesn't-
did?
my view doesn't. Okay, my view to you might not care about the fetus, but what I would say, like if I was a lawmaker, that's a sticky situation where you can't tell if it's been used. You can't tell if it's not been used. Those contraceptives have been or not been used.
You just conceded. Say it. Say it with me now. You're not pro-life. You're pro-control.
I'm not pro-control.
Yes, you are.
If I was pro-control, I would tell you that I want to put that in the law.
So then why don't you think?
can't put
Then
that
why
in the
don't
law.
you think that individuals who don't use double contraceptives should be able to access abortions?
Because they didn't take the proper precautionaries to make sure it doesn't happen.
Exactly. You didn't say anything about the value of the life. That means you're not pro-life, dude. Think about it. If your grandma got fucking pew-pewed in the back of the head by a burglar in the middle of the night, and I walked up to you and I asked you why that was a bad thing that happened, you'd be like, dude, what the fuck? You're crazy. My grandma died. All right? You wouldn't be well.
That has nothing to do with
It does. Let me finish my argument here. The first thing you'd say is, dude, you're crazy. It's wrong because my grandma died. But then when we're talking about an abortion and I'm asking you why that's wrong, you're like, meh, they didn't use a condom. There wasn't enough birth control. Maybe the woman and the man were kind of irresponsible. You're not like, it's wrong because the fetus died. In fact, you have even admitted now that you don't care the fetus died. You just cared that a man and a woman engaged in intercourse without proper contraception confirms a contraceptive under your view, meaning that they're doing something really reckless that they could have seen or that they took the risk of by getting an abortion.
Okay, so yes, my view to you and to other people might say that I don't care about the fetus. That's completely wrong. I do care about the fetus. That's why when you conceive without using the proper protection or with not having the exceptions that 99% of the people on this earth would agree is, an exception.
Wait, if you care about the
You
fetus, then
shouldn't-
why do you think it's okay to kill them insofar as both the man and the woman wore protection?
That's my opinion. That's not what I want to make a law. That my opinion.
I know, but
okay.
that opinion does not coincide with an opinion that you care about the fetus. Why do you
I
think it's
still
okay
do.
to kill things that you care about?
I mean, do you not care about a conceived fetus?
No.
You don't care at all. So
I don't
once
think
it's-
I don't think it has a sufficient moral value to be granted the right to life.
a sufficient moral value. Okay, so when it's conceived, what is it?
When it's conceived, the first stage of human development would be blastocyst.
So it's a human. So
then it
so it's human. Okay,
becomes a zygote.
so you're okay with absolutely killing a human?
Yes.
Because you don't want it.
Yes.
You think that's absolutely okay? So then
well,
you
not
don't-
because
so
of the
then you
because
have-
there, not because of the because. I think it's okay to kill the human because that human doesn't have the ability to deploy sentience.
Okay, so if you have like a 120-year-old grandma who can't speak, can't hear, can't listen, anything like that, that's okay just to shoot her in the back of the head.
You could have sentience without the ability to speak, hear, or listen. What?
If she's
Wait,
fully
wait.
she's fully dependent, hold on. If
Wait,
she's,
do you
hold on, let me
think
finish.
that do you
Let me
think that
finish. If she,
do you think that deaf people without vocal cords don't have sentience?
okay, so what's your definition of that? So let's just say
Just
okay,
the ability
what-
to perceive first person subjective experiences.
Okay, perfect. So let's just say that there is a 120-year-old grandma that is in your family that can't do that. That is fully dependent on somebody else to feed them, to have them use the restroom, to do anything for them.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Is it okay to shoot them in the back of the head because they
No, if that person is sentient, no. Wait. I think that sentience emerges at like 20 gestational weeks. What the fuck is a fetus at 20 weeks capable of doing on their own? Nothing. But I still give it moral value because it has the ability to deploy low levels of sentience.
Okay, just
If
just for the record,
anything,
because
like this 120-year-old grandma that is completely dependent upon caretakers to live, right, has more autonomy than a fetus at 20 weeks.
Okay, so let's for the record, because I don't watch your live all the time. What is the time frame you would not allow allow an AV to happen?
Yeah, I think that lethal elective abortions become immoral at around 20 weeks.
Why is that? Because that's when sentience arises?
Yeah, because that's when the thymocortical connections occur, and that is when neurobiologists believe it is most likely that the ability to deploy sentience emerges.
Okay, but it's still a human. And you're
Right.
perfectly
It's
okay
a
with that
human from
before
the
20
moment
weeks.
of conception. Yep.
Okay, and you're still perfectly fine with killing it.
A plus. You got it right, sir.
Why is that?
Why? Well, because it doesn't. Say it with me now. Say it with me now. Because it doesn't have the ability. Say it with me now. To deploy. Finish my sentence.
To deploy sentience, yes.
Boom.
Okay, but still, it's still a human, right?
Correct.
So then why would you kill a human? It doesn't matter that it has sentience or not. It's still a human.
I think it does matter that it has sentience. Can I demonstrate to you that you agree with me?
Go ahead.
Is it murder to pull the plug on brain dead patients in the hospital?
No.
That was really sadistic of you, Austin. They're still human.
Of course.
Are you saying that it's okay to
Because-
kill this
because
brain dead
here-
patient
because-
because they no longer have an ability to deploy sentience?
It's a medical practice.
Is abortion a
But it-
medical practice?
Yeah, it is technically.
Oh, you sound a lot like me now, Austin. I like the new version of you, sir. You're a great guy, quite frankly, a great guy. That's right.
Quite frankly, great guy. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Well, I really appreciate your time. I can agree at this point. I made myself look completely stupid, and I do really appreciate you educating me on things that I don't know about.
Austin, I appreciate you for trying to be open-minded. I see it in you.
I do. I'm open-minded, and I really do appreciate you giving me the information and helping me see things through. Because there's a lot more that I'd love to talk to you about, but obviously you have a lot more guests, and I want to be able to give them the time to sit and talk and debate.
Yeah. Well, hey man, consider
So-
my views. Maybe they might be your views in the future. Actually, can I tell you a really quick story before you leave, Austin?
Absolutely, because now that like I said before, now that I see all the things going on, I'm quite frankly on the fence about.
Let me just tell you a quick story. Have you like seen me like on the internet before?
I
Is this,
have,
like, the
yeah.
first time? Yeah.
No. You've, to be completely honest, like I was on conservative, like a conservative FYP for ever. I only saw like older millennial and all like, that piece of crap. And then I started seeing you and the other three people, which we won't name right now because I don't know how that stands. And at the time, it was because I was seeing your face and then an immediate stitch of somebody else. So I see you all the time, all over the internet. So it's not just.
Oh, that's
To be
awesome,
fully
man.
honest.
So, check this out. All of this started for me about 3.5 years ago when I was scrolling on my TikTok For You page and I saw a pro-choicer running a debate live. At the time, I was pro-life. So I joined up and I was like, I'm going to school this person in a debate. I'm going to convince him to be pro-life. I think I'm a pretty smart guy. And you know what? By the end of that conversation with him, I was saying the same shit you are right now, man. I said, you made me look completely fucking stupid. And then that led me to this existential crisis where I was like, oh my God. Like my view is just got completely just destroyed by this person that thinks abortion is okay. So then I kind of went back and I was like, well, I can't just be comfortable in the fact that my beliefs are logically inconsistent and have so many issues. So then I tried to just make a better pro-life argument. And then I went back to either that same pro-choice or somebody else and got destroyed again. And after doing that process a couple times and figuring out that there wasn't a single pro-life argument that I thought was logically consistent and defensible, I then was like, okay, it's time for me to make the concession, and then I become pro-choice. And now I'm as firm in that belief as ever. So I think
To be
that,
completely honest, I went through the same thing you did because I went on somebody else's live that was completely pro-choice. And I was like, well, I'm going to state my views and let them know that I'm uneducated. I educated myself more, which obviously is not enough, coming up and talking to you. And I appreciate you giving me the time, and educating me on the viewpoints that I know most people have. Like most people, I live in California, so most of the people around me are pro-choice, and you're going to hate me even more for saying this because I'm married. We haven't even talked about having children yet. And this was the biggest thing that we had concerns about because we are both on the fence of pro-life and pro-choice. I started leaning more towards pro-life because it was all over my For You page. It was all over the information I was looking at, obviously, because it's what I've been on, it's what my parents have been on, things like that. Obviously, parents influence you in a type of way, but they don't completely make your argument for you. So I can't make that excuse. But it's been all over the place. It's all I've seen. And it's like, we just had this conversation about, okay, well, what if this happens? Is it justified? What if this happens? Is it justified? And we've been sitting there like contemplating it forever. And like now I have more information. Now I could be even healthier for her because we had disagreements, quite frankly, about what to do.
Here,
You know what I mean?
I'm going to leave you with this, Austin. You, at least hopefully you agree with me here. If there's a man and a woman that are married, the man should always want to do what is right by his wife, right?
Of course.
In all scenarios. Always to do what's best, not just for yourself, but also for your partner. That is what a healthy relationship is defined by. And consider the fact that your views on abortion may not even just certainly be wrong, okay? You're not there yet. Just potentially be wrong, okay? And by the acknowledgement that your views on abortion are potentially wrong, if you were to be presented with a scenario where you're pushing those views on your wife, you're potentially doing something wrong by pushing those views on your wife. All right?
Absolutely.
So
Like,
because
you
you
know-
may potentially be doing something wrong by pushing those views on your wife, and you're hopefully a good husband that really cares about your wife, it is really worth it for you to further investigate if your beliefs are good or are not good by further education and maybe some more conversations like these, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like, to be completely honest, I don't push, like, we had disagreements, but I don't push them on her. I tell her, you could do whatever you want because, you know, you're my wife. I'm gonna let you do whatever you want. That's for your mental health. So like that's where I became conflicted. You know, I'm never gonna force her to do anything that, you know, she doesn't want to do. You know, and I think that's like the biggest thing for me. Because at first I was like, absolutely not. Like if this happens, we're getting rid of it. And then at the same time, she's like, well, why? And she gave a good argument. And you know, now it's like I tried one time to let her know like how my viewpoints are, and then it
Can
turned
I-
into you just do what you decide is right because it's not my place. It's not my body.
Can,
It's
can
not
I,
my body.
Can I gotta ask you a great question.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you're married to this woman, and you don't think that even you can tell her what she can and can't do. So how do you feel about some random old white guy in Washington, D.C. telling her what she can and can't do?
I hate to say it, but I love to say it. You're right.
Right? And that
I
is
hate
the
it, but I love it at the
reality.
same time.
And that is
Yeah.
the reality for American women and girls. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to kind of just leave conversations of abortion up to the people about us expressing our thoughts and our feelings about why it may be a good thing or a bad thing, but also make the acknowledgement that these random fucking old white guys in DC shouldn't be able to restrict access to healthcare. That's what it is to be pro-choice. So you could be pro-choice and have considerations of the ethical implications of killing a fetus and want to further explore the nuance to determine if it's a good or bad thing, and promote more like critical dialogue in society as a whole that is completely compatible with your views here. And I think that is an environment that is not just better for intellectualism, because we get to promote genuine critical conversations instead of the boot from DC stomping on us all and saying, no, bad, it's wrong, abortion's murder, no access for anybody into conversation, point blank, period. But, you know, it is also really beneficial for the first reason I gave. If you don't think you should be able to tell your wife what to do, neither should that random old guy in DC. So I think there's a
Completely.
couple really strong reasons there that might make you pro-choice.
Yeah, and I keep reading the comments, and I think, you know, I thank everybody for the gifts. I don't need them. Go and give them to Dean. I absolutely have no need for them. I think it's better off with him. Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I really appreciate you kind of opening my eyes. And I came on hot and heavy because, you know, you gotta make your viewpoints heard, and you gotta stand by it no matter what. But I really appreciate it.
I match your energy, man. No harm, no foul. Hey,
No harm, no foul. Well,
have a good rest of your night, Austin, and I hope that you continue to engage in these conversations. I think
you
that
too.
could be really good
You
for
you just earned a new follower, so I really appreciate
you. Oh, man.
what you do.
Have a good rest of your night, man.
You too, man. Hopefully, all the other people are as respectful.
Oh man, yeah, that was a really good conversation. That was what a really good conversation looks like. I see a lot of potential in that guy, because that was the same reaction I had when I was super MAGA, pro-life, etc. You know, it's like I would have discussions with people that disagreed with me, and when they're really smart and could just completely embarrass my position, like I made that acknowledgement. You know what I mean? And I feel like when we see people on like these live streams that can make that acknowledgement, that person has a lot of potential for a bright future, not just for themselves, but for other people too. All right. I want to go ahead and thank a couple people here real quick. First and foremost, Tobias. Thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo. Appreciate you for the love. And Mr. Austin. Hey, man. Thank you for the galaxy. Hope you have a good rest of your night, bro. Thank you so much, Austin and Tobias. You guys are both awesome. Mark, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo as well. Thank you so much, man. That is incredibly kind of you. And then also Connor with the $10 over on Venmo saying, I'm gonna run out of money if you keep being this based. Bro, dude, I love this Connor guy. You know, the one cool Connor ever. W Connor in the chat. Then also, Vanessa, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. That is incredibly kind of you. And oh my God, Jennifer, thank you so much for the $50 donation over on Venmo. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Jennifer says, haven't been able to tune in much of the past few days, but still just want to support you. Keep kicking ass and taking names. Jennifer, you're an absolute legend, an absolute icon. We all love you so much, guys. I want at least 500 Jennifer W's down below in that chat right now, quite frankly. And then, oh my God, also Sebastian, thank you for the $20 donation on Venmo. Dude, you guys are so kind. Thank you everyone so much for the love on Venmo. And then also Naomi, thank you for the $30 donation on PayPal. Dude, 300 Naomi W's. Naomi says, keep being you and educating less educated. Naomi, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. 300 W Naomi's. And then also Priscilla with the $15 down below. Thank you so much, Priscilla. Priscilla says, you're amazing. Thank you for doing what you're doing. No, Priscilla, you're amazing. Thank you not only for your donation, but the kind words as well. And let's go ahead and take a look at the super chats. We got V for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat saying for the accidental Lithuania flag in the background. I don't know if you guys could see it on TikTok. I think they're referring to my books right there. Hey, it does. It has the same colors as a Lithuania flag. Based. And then also Jennifer with the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat as well. And then Sylvia with the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. I posted you on Twitter and wanted to know your thoughts on what I said. By the way, I love your live streams. Johnny, I'll look up what you said on Twitter. And then also, let's see here. Travis, thank you for the $5 on PayPal. All right, guys. So it is currently 4:50 my time. We're out here in Mountain Standard Time. Somebody's spamming mods down below in the chat. Let me see what people want me to take some executive action on. Oh, it's just John spamming tomatoes. Yo, accept that invite, John. You're muted in the chat. Only way you could use your voice now is to accept that invite and come throw those tomatoes at me. I'm person to person. Oh shit, John accepted. John, you better not run. John, bro, what's the gripe? What's the issue? We see the tomatoes down there. What's going on, man? You were so loud twiddling your thumbs, but it's like the moment actually talk to me, you have nothing to say. And that's not even like a metaphorical nothing. That's like a literal you are silent. Do we just need to kind of give you a moment to collect yourself? All right, John, take a moment. Because I got to thank Luca for the $32 donation over on PayPal. Thank you for the love, Luca. Let's get 320 W Lucas down below that chat. Thank you so much for the love, Luca. That is so incredibly kind of you. Luca says, hey, man, been watching you for a long time, and the way you use your voice is so amazing to see you stay alive, man. Love from the UK-Luca. Luca. Love to the UK and love to you as well. Thank you for the $32. It's incredibly kind of you. You're amazing. W's for Luca. All right, John, buddy. You know, when I first got you up here, this was it was fun. It was quirky and whatnot. Now it's just kind of annoying. Should we? Do you need more time to kind of collect your thoughts here, or are you ready to go? People are reportedly calling you boring, John. And quite frankly, I gotta agree with them. Bye, John. Oh, terrible. All right, guys, we got 7 minutes before I get off and go to dinner with my grandparents. So I'm just gonna hang out with you guys until that time hits. If you're one of the 3.9 thousand people watching, thanks for being here. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo and the PayPal on the top of the phone screen, as well as in the link tree in the bio. For everyone over on YouTube, it's in the pinned comment. And I'm just going to kind of hang out with you guys, do a little bit of a Q&A and talk about the future. We actually got a lot of really cool things coming up. So first and foremost, we got Unfuck America Tour, Texas A&M, April 22nd, 6:30 p.m. That's going to be very, very, very fun. Me, Parker, are going to be headlining the event. And then we have around another 30 people, 30 influencers coming out of there, some of your favorite creators. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I can't wait. We're all going to enjoy that. That's going to be awesome. And then after that, I think at the beginning of the month, maybe I might have Pete Buttigieg on the stream. If that ends up happening, that's just going to be huge. I mean, that's seriously unreal. It's likely going to happen. We just got to kind of figure it out. Got to talk through the specifics. It's like preemptively pretty confirmed, but it's not certainly confirmed yet. So this isn't an official announcement. You know, it's still possible that we got to like maybe push it off to a later date or something pop up just because it's not officially confirmed yet. But holy shit, guys, that would be so amazing if it was to happen. I cannot wait. I was able to meet Pete Buttigieg's, one of his managers out in DC when I went to the White House, and we connected there. And then, you know, of course, this event kind of has transpired from that connection. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then we also might be making a stop of the Unfuck America tour in Wyoming on the 24th. But we'll still have to see if that happens. And then also, I'm going to be in DC at the beginning of next month. So I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling in the next couple of weeks. So these streams probably are not going to happen as much. We're going to be doing a lot of traveling over the next couple of weeks. Definitely going to be in Texas, maybe Wyoming, and then most likely DC from like now until like May 10th. So yeah, that's what's going on. Alicia with a $5 super chat over on YouTube. Your convo with Austin was awesome. We need many more like that to change the mind of many. Great work. Keep it up. Yeah, that was a good conversation. I wish more people were like him. When in DC, I think it's like from the 4th to the 7th. I'm going out there for like a 3-day event. Then I also got an invite to go out to Nigeria for 4 days as a TED summit. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing it just because although it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, spending 20 hours on a plane sounds like I don't even know if I could do that. Fun fact, I have like severe flight anxiety. And I've actually had to really work on that. You know, working in the field that I do, especially before the election, I was flying around to a bunch of different places. And even like the 2-hour flights would like kill me. So, but I mean, now like, you know, the way I ended up like working on it and I fixed that flight anxiety was just getting super in to how planes work, getting super in to like the mechanical functions of them. And it even made me like kind of want to become a pilot, but it helped out with the flight anxiety a lot. Really cool. Really cool. Smithy with the $5 over on YouTube super chat. Why doesn't life function as a what in the conjunction of life and sentience? Why doesn't one become more important than the other? I don't quite know what you're asking, Mr. Smithy. Dean the pilot? Dude, it'd be cool. It'd be really cool. Honestly, I'm just not built out for all the school that it takes. Fun fact, I hate institutionalized education. It's just never really worked for me. Oh my God, I got terrible grades in high school. Didn't really do the best in college either. It's really hard for me to pay attention. Mag, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Thank you for the love, Mag. Everybody, please show some love to Mag down below in that comment section. Mag says, you made my day with your debates. Mag, thank you. That's so kind. I'm so happy to hear that. I love hearing about how these lives make people happier. God, I love it so much. You're awesome. But all right, I guess it is now time. It is 5 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and start getting ready for dinner with the grandparents. I love you all, and I hope that every single one of you has a phenomenal rest of your evenings. Go check out Parker. I'm pretty sure he's live on YouTube at Parker Get a Job. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of your nights, y'all. Take care.